Opening Drive on 101 ESPN.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Hump Day?
Welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis.
You might look like a tomato, but that was amazing.
We're 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I was waiting until Danny Mac looked at me, and he finally did.
I was looking at my notes.
I know you were.
He's getting prepared for this show, this hard-hitting show we have today.
It is Hump Day because tomorrow
What's wrong
is
with you,
Friday.
man? Come on. Did you come in with the idea of doing that this morning?
Until I started saying it. And
you
were
had to
looking
feel
down,
the vibe.
Yeah, you were looking down at your notes. Brooke and I looked at Brooke. She was looking at me. I looked at Matthew. Matthew was looking at me. So I just kept it going. I was going to go until you looked at me, brother.
I finally looked at you. How many seconds do you think that was? It's already 7:01 now here in St. Louis.
It had to,
Oh my God! Yeah,
45 seconds.
Yeah, it had to be about 40 seconds, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I could do like if St. Louis City SC ever scores a goal, I'm going to do like 3 minutes.
Hey, they scored this past weekend.
Oh, they did. They scored twice. We're going to talk about them as we go along. Brooke, Dan, Matthew, Randy, happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. Great to have you with us on the opening drive. Quite a show coming up. Here, let me, do we have a grid today? Where's my show? Oh, there's a show. Well, I got this. I got a show planned. I get a show grid.
I got a grid for you.
Oh, there's a grid.
We're really
You love your grid.
I got my
Talking
grid.
about football.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. So Greg Amsinger is going to join us. We're going to talk about Bradley Carnell getting whacked yesterday by St. Louis City SC. Talk a little Blues free. Can we do a whole segment on Blues free agency?
It's going to be pretty tough.
Kapanen was just got your attention, didn't it?
Yeah.
Now we got to stretch 15 minutes into that.
Maybe we can talk about his dad. His dad was a good player. We're also going to talk Cardinal first half awards. Cardinals will play at Pittsburgh tonight after a night off last night. And quite a show coming up here for you. And we're going to give away Rolling Stones. No, not Rolling Stones tickets. Those have already been given away. We're going to give away tickets to Journey and Def
Leopard.
Is it Def Leppard? Or I was going to go with Def Puma, but we'll go Def Leppard.
It's Def Leppard. The energy from you this morning, Randy. I need to bottle that up into a cup.
Did you? Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Did you guys know that you still can. You can adopt zoo animals, and you can be like a zoo friend and have an animal can be yours if you give a certain amount of money to the zoo. And I used to be the father of Andy the Puma at the St. Louis Zoo. I think Andy the Puma is late and lamented now. But yeah, so I would go to the zoo and say, hey, how you doing, son? So,
you can actually do that? I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. You can be a zoo parent.
And if
How
you
much
want
did it
to,
cost you?
Probably like $100, a couple $100.
Okay.
That's it?
here's a good opportunity. They have tiger triples right now. Found that out yesterday.
Oh, I'm gonna. If there's one named Tony, I will adopt it.
So then you are the only. Oh, so do you become the only person who gets to say that's my Puma?
I don't know.
Or is there other people?
Well,
Because like how you could adopt a star, and you're like, how do I know that that's truly my star?
And which star is mine?
Yeah, are they giving that star away to other people?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a scam. No, I don't think that the Puma is only yours, but when you're there, you kind of have a one-on-one with your Puma.
Did you go see that animal
on
much?
a regular basis?
Would you really?
Andy was. Yeah, Andy had a bad foot. He limped around, but he was a friendly little Puma. Yeah.
A lot of people are going back and forth on the early good morning that you just gave out. Some like it, some don't.
Well, it would have been much more brief if you would have just looked up.
Okay, I'm staring at you. What do you have next? I'm staring at you.
So the Cardinals of Pittsburgh tonight. Kyle Gibson, our buddy, who will join us on tomorrow's show. He's 5-3 with a 3.70. What a pleasant. I won't say he's a surprise to me. Well, you know what? He had an earned run average of 5 last year.
He's a surprise to me.
Yeah. So and he'll pitch against Mitch Keller, who's 9-4 with a 3.20. Give Mo credit because these 3 starting pitchers that the Cardinals signed have all been as good as or better than advertised.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the storylines of the first half, and certainly a storyline going into the second half. Can they keep it going? And if they do, this team's going to be right where they're at right now, which is above 500 and in the hunt for a wild card.
Who would you say out of the starting rotation has surprised you the most so far in the first half of the season?
Lance Lynn for me.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
Lynn the other day giving you 6, and the way that he's going a little bit further into games, and it's starting to, you see that he's stronger, it seems like, as the season's going on. It'd be Lance Lynn for me.
He had a 5.93 earned run average last year.
And all the home runs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's going to walk into giving up some home runs as you go along, but for the most part, he's keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of an effect he's having on the young players. He did the event on Sunday night with Alec Burleson. He's around those young pitchers on a regular basis, the bullpen guys too, because he pitched out of the bullpen as a rookie. And I think he's helping them not only from a physical standpoint, but a preparation standpoint too.
I feel like he's just also a very upfront and honest personality.
You
so
think?
I feel like that, I like listening to his post-game comments and what he has to say. He's a very direct person.
He's now, 6th all-time in strikeouts in Cardinals
Yeah.
history?
Got 1,000, yeah. Pretty impressive.
I don't think we give him enough credit for his Cardinal career.
No, he's been a really good Cardinal. And he didn't have the best relationship with Mike Matheny. I think that hurt him. The injury, the Tommy John for 2016 hurt him. But I think he's been a really good Cardinal. I think the Cardinals made a mistake, actually, in letting him go the first time.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at what happened when his career moved on, and he was at a few different stops, and especially initially when they let him go, he was really good. He was one of the top pitchers in baseball, but he's going to wind up being top 5 in strikeouts in Cardinals history, and maybe even better than that. And at this point, you got an option on him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have an option to bring him back. And there's still a long ways to go, but you'd have to think about bringing him back for another year, and those numbers will continue to go up.
The fact that he's 37. 37. I was expecting some natural regression because Father Time is undefeated. We've talked about it over and over again, but you haven't seen that from him this year.
No. In 2021, he was 3rd in the American League Cy Young voting. 3rd. He was 11-6 with a 2.69, 157 innings, and 176 walks. He was really good, and then he also had a 16-win season for Texas in 2019, where he led the league in batters faced, and 208 innings and struck out 246. I mean, he's had some dynamic years away from St. Louis.
So add up the St. Louis years, and let's say he goes 2 more. Would that be 8 years in St. Louis?
It'd be a total of 10. This is his 8th year as a Cardinal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's shocking to me. It just didn't seem like we talk about him much with the 2011 team, or talk about the fact that he was an all-star one year, or all the strikeouts that are popping up. I just think it's been really overlooked at just how good he's been.
So he will go this weekend as the Cardinals play Pittsburgh and then go to Washington. Big news yesterday after the show ended. I mean, right after the show ended. St. Louis City SC announced that they had fired head coach Bradley Carnell. John Hackworth was named the interim coach. He's been with City since essentially the start. Signed with City in October of 21 following a stretch as head coach at Louisville City in the USL. He's also coached City 2 to the MLS Next Pro Championship back in 2022. Here's the way I look at this. There's one of two things that happened. Because Bradley Carnell was hired in January of 2022. Spent 14 years building this team, getting ready for the start last year. Spent 14 months getting ready, and then 16 months as the coach. So you should have known what you had in Bradley Carnell. Either he fooled you, one of 3 things happened. He fooled you, and you didn't realize what he was, or you fooled yourself and you didn't realize what you were hiring, or I think the most probable situation that happened is in the interim, after Carnell was hired, And while he was coaching the team, Diego Guglielmi was hired as the team president and didn't like what he saw and decided to make a change. I get that they haven't won in 9, but it is an expansion team. And any responsible expansion team that hires a coach 14 months before they start play is going to understand that they're a building expansion team. And I think the expectations have to be reasonable in the second year. I know Lutz said yesterday that last year's fast start built expectations. Well, I think maybe unreasonable expectations for him. I think a rational person would say you're still an expansion team.
I was shocked when the news came out yesterday because the show had ended, as you mentioned, and we were all sitting around. And Rocc, I believe that you were the one that pointed out first that, hey, they just fired Bradley Carnell. And I'm like, for what? Wait, what? For what reason? Because, as you mentioned, you had, of course, that fairy tale season last year, inaugural season, everything they accomplished. I thought they would give him a little bit more time to continue to build upon that, considering you had so many key injuries this season. But my big takeaway from the press conference yesterday was, one, this was a carryover with how things ended last season, even during the second half, how things started to tail off a little bit. And obviously the playoffs were very disappointing. And then the way that things continued this year. The quote, though, that I think a lot of people are talking about, where Lutz says that if they had won on Saturday versus the Whitecaps, that Bradley Carnell would still be the manager today. And I think that that's the part where you're like, whoa, it just took one win or loss to really make this decision. I was shocked by that, but maybe it just seems like more that this was something that carried over from last year and they haven't been able to really get over that hump.
I don't like the move. I don't think it's the right move, not at this time. And I understand they're going in the wrong direction. They're not playing well whatsoever. I guess they felt like he's not getting the most out of the roster. That's for sure. That they've got some players that should be better than they are. They haven't spent, though, a ton of money. I mean, you're not talking about a very expensive roster. I don't like the move, and I think the reason why is that we forget it was a fairy tale season in your first year. The expectations are so high now. You're an expansion team. You got to give this guy a little credit. So what it tells me is that there's more underlying factors that'll never come out, and there's stuff behind the scenes that we just don't know about to make this move. Because it also lends itself to when you make that move, to Brooks' point, it wasn't based on, in my mind, it wasn't based on one game. I mean, if they win that game, so what? You're going to lose maybe the next 5. Yeah. So it doesn't make a difference whether or not they won that game. They had made their decision already and said that we're moving on from this guy.
And to that point, the president of the general manager of the team, president and GM Diego Guglielmi, talking about making the move when they did.
So I think this feels like the moment where the decision had to be taken. And at the same point, we are encouraged by the thought that we have 14 games to go. This isn't poor form with 5 games to go. This is poor form, but with 14 games. So that's more than 40% of the league still pending. So that's why we felt that this was the right moment, thinking about the past 20 games and especially the last 9, but also the opportunity to still course correct in the next 14 games and hopefully get into that position that we want to be, which is qualifying for playoffs.
Well, let's start with this. You're in the soccer capital of America. You have 14 more matches, okay? So we'll start with that. We're throwing stuff around.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't mean to.
Here's the other part of this, though.
Everything there.
They better win, right? If you're saying that we expect to make the playoffs, and you make this change, and you got people spending a lot of money, $22,500 every single game, and you have a lot of people that spend a lot of money on season tickets. If you're going to make this move, you're the experts. You better win.
I think the other thing too is that the league shuttles through coaches. I think he was. Maybe, and Rocc, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he was like in the middle of the pack in terms of tenure for coaches at MLS. I mean, they shuttle through guys all the time. So I guess it's new to us in a lot of ways as casual fans and learning more about MLS, learning more about soccer. But this is kind of the MO of the league, is that they shuttle through these guys a lot. So maybe we shouldn't be overly surprised by what's going on.
I think the other part, though, that is surprising is that they gave him an extension. Remember?
Yeah, right.
After last season.
Like,
wait a minute, that happened, is that he got an extension. So you would think that by giving him an extension, you would say, okay, we're going to give him time. Even if it hurts a little bit, where you have this sophomore slump in a way, we're going to give him time to continue to work out of this.
Did the players quit on him, too? That would be the other thing.
And I don't know if he quit on Adeniran or if Adeniran quit on him, but they didn't seem to play with the same, and they didn't have as much luck. I mean, it's different when you're winning,
Exactly.
right? They were lucky. They had a lot of good
fairy
fortune
tale
last
season
year.
last year.
Yeah.
And that's everything went right for them. And I guess the expectations were too high this year. But I don't think they should be. I think you stick with the coach. He's been here for a year and a half.
And on an expansion team.
With
I
an
agree.
expansion team.
I'm with you 100%, Danny. We'll talk about this as we go along during the show. A couple of other notes. Jayson Tatum sings the largest deal in NBA history. 5 years, $314 million. I'm in the money. Okay. I'm in the money.
My middle finger was quicker than my ring finger. My apologies on the typewriter there.
Hey, look, we're Ron Burgundy over here. If it's on that paper, we're going to read it.
What's going on with you this morning?
I'm just reading what it says here,
It's a
Dan.
short week. You must be fired up because it's a short week.
Yeah, the deal includes a player option and a trade kicker. The deal brings in past Celtic teammate Jaylen Brown, who signed a $285 million extension last year. And the U.S. men's national team, got eliminated from the group stages of COPA America following a 1-0 loss to Uruguay.
I was thinking, like, the people that had to be the happiest that Tatum got the extension outside of Jayson Tatum and his family is the fact that Chaminade... You know, you might think about a donation to old Chaminade, you know?
Right.
Maybe we can make this huge basketball complex, or let's do something for the school. We can add on another building or 5. And I would think that they're smiling a little bit.
Yeah, and also the fact that it's $314 million. What's the area code here?
Thank you.
314.
Yeah.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. Pretty cool.
It's a lot of money, man, and he's young. He's gonna have another bite at the apple before it's all said and done again. He's gonna wind up making over $500 million.
That's pretty good.
For putting a ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
I love it.
Outside of all the advertisement deals that he
Yeah.
has.
Yeah,
I mean,
good for him.
he's doing a lot of advertisements.
We're off and running here on the opening drive. Coming up, we've got Sick of It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO.
Oh, wait a minute. I was texting with somebody.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but...
You want to do it later?
No, I
save
think we do it now.
Get it out of the way?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the long version of Good Morning, everybody. I'm just going to do a very... since this has not been a professional segment in any form or fashion.
No.
We've been trying.
It's
kind of.
No, it's not. 399-YO-HO. It was a very positive, I think, from the gut. Made you feel. Thank you. Appreciate
Well
that.
done, Dave.
Thank you.
Sick of It. Next on 101 ESPN. Hey, I've got an idea for your business. If you want to make meaningful connections and draw more clients, you need to get in touch with 2060 Digital. It's part of our company. It's a Hubbard company. It's our sister company. And 2060 Digital is backed by a 100-year-old media empire. Now you say, Randy, what's 2060 Digital? What do they do? Well, they work in the digital space. They'll build you the best website that is possible for your company. They know how to utilize social media, so they'll tell you how to post, what to post, when to post, and there is a science to posting on social media to draw the most people to your business, and they'll also provide you the algorithms and install the algorithms so that your company shows up on the front page of search engines. The specialization of 2060 Digital is amazing, and they have a great analytics team that'll tell you exactly how everything is working, and they'll be able to show you how everything is working. Enhance your brand's online presence and optimize digital campaigns and increase customer engagement with 2060 Digital at 101ESPN.com/2060 Digital. 101ESPN.com/2060 Digital. It is time for Sick of It here on 101 ESPN. The text line is open, and you can be sick of anything. It can be in the sports world or not in the sports world. Guys, I fall into the sports world this morning. Yesterday, Klay Thompson signed a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks. Good for him that he got a gig, and people were saying that he just had to take the money, had to take the $50 million. Couldn't have gone to the Lakers because the Lakers couldn't offer enough. Klay Thompson has made $225 million during his career already. Whether he got $40 million or $50 million is completely immaterial to him. He can't spend $265 million if he's a reasonable person and reasonably intelligent. I'm just sick of the fact that we say, oh, he's got to get the money when he's already got 225 or 275 or 350 million. No, when you get 225 million, you should go to the place that's most comfortable. You don't have to go for the last dime when you've already got $225 million in the bank.
Isn't that what drives most people, though, is money? You go where the money goes?
Yeah, but it's not the best way to go. Money can't buy happiness. You should go where you're going to be happy when you have that much money.
I don't know if it was him making the decision. I would say it falls on the shoulders of his agent, and his agent is saying, well, for me to keep my job and to get other prospective clients, I've got to get the most out of the clients that I have. Mm-hmm. And again, we always go back to it. Who's working for who? Who's working for whom? I mean, are the players working for the agents or the agents working for the players? And I guarantee, at least in my opinion, that the agent steps in and says, no, we can squeeze out another $10 million. I know you're happy here, but we can squeeze out another $10 million and make sure that you get the highest paid contract we can possibly find. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I'm with you, Randy, but I think that's probably behind the scenes what goes on.
You are 100% correct about that. But Klay Thompson has been in the NBA for 12 years. He's 34 years old. Clay, grow up.
The other part of it, legacy of staying in one place, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah,
I don't think like when Petro left, he could have stayed here forever. And I understand we can go on both sides of who was right and wrong, but the idea of staying in one place, and maybe it's because of us in talk radio and fans of sports or fans of individuals, you want to see him stay at one place. But man, legacy is a big deal to me. There would have been a statue outside of Enterprise probably for him holding the cup.
Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, with Thompson, he got 3 and 50 from Dallas. Last year, he turned down 2 and 48 from Golden State.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
That
He's
is
been
just
injured.
crazy.
Yeah.
The NBA, first of all, before I get into mine, the NBA contracts that we're seeing come out, doesn't it just make you reevaluate your life? Not that I could have ever been, obviously, an NBA player for various reasons, considering I'm a female, but on the other side of it, you're like, man, those contracts are just absolutely insane.
They're unbelievable. And we're so hardened. Think about Jayson Tatum, 5 years and $314 million. Think about what you could buy and where you could live and what you could do with $314 million. Congratulations to him, but it is unbelievable. And the league is making a lot of money. Fortunately for the players, they're getting a good portion of it. I'm happy for the players. But you're exactly right, Brooke. It's amazing the money that is out there. That we just throw the number around like it's monopoly money.
Yeah, from the 618. But money can buy you things that make you happy.
Well, that's the thing. You can.
But how many things do you need to be happy?
Endless things.
Right.
Have you been on a yacht, Dan?
Great point. I'd love to have my own yacht, private planes, all that stuff.
He's going to have $275 million after this. Career earnings. So it could be $273 if he would have signed with Golden State.
That is nuts.
Golden State came out and said, we thank him for what he's done. He'll always be a Golden State Warrior. We're going to retire his number. He means so much to our 4 or 5, whatever it was, 4 championships that we won. So they said all the right things, but still, something about legacy means something to me in sports.
100%.
So for me, it's going to be outside of the sports category. Fireworks. When is the appropriate time to be shooting off fireworks? I personally believe that it should be on the holiday. So we have 4th of July this week. Monday night, all of a sudden, last night, I hear at 9:45, I believe were fireworks, question mark.
You hope.
I hope it was fireworks. So that's what I'm sick of is I understand maybe starting fireworks a day or two earlier, or you just want to test them out a little bit. I mean, but this was a lot of fireworks at 9:45 at night. And so it freaked me out a little bit. Of course, it was just fireworks because I didn't hear any other commotion that you would with something
good. No
else.
sirens?
Yeah, the sirens that go off. So that's what I'm sick of is people who start their fireworks a little too early.
Makes my dogs go crazy, so that makes me not a happy person, which then makes my kids not sleep at like midnight, which they're not going to sleep anyway. They're old enough and stay up all night in the summers. But it does bother. I'm with you, Brooke. I think there needs to be like a limit on, maybe a day before, day after, and let's call it a weekend. Matthew I love it when Matthew just kind of looks at me sometimes, whether or not you're in agreement or paying attention or whatever. Sometimes they just get a look from me and I like it.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention that time.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was texting before, so it's all good.
Yeah, I was reading other ones.
Someone
sorry.
says 4th of July week is fair game. So the entire week, you think from your home, do you agree with that?
I don't. That's a lot. But you know what? Depending on the fireworks, if I can go watch them and they're really nice, then I don't complain. So I'm on both sides of the fence.
If you can see it and it's nice.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, but late at night fireworks, how do you feel about it, Randy?
Not a fan. And especially when the dogs are affected. Yeah, it's bothersome.
All right, I'm sick of Sergio Garcia, who is furious at how slow play warnings are coming his way at the final Open qualifying, saying fans are causing the delays. No, really they're not. It's just you're a slow player, and at some point you need to speed it up. I cannot stand slow golf. It happens even on the PGA Tour. It drives me crazy, and get over the ball, hit it. Do your routine. I get it. Every shot matters on the PGA Tour. You could put one right or left, and all of a sudden you're looking at an 8, and it causes you to lose a tournament or not qualify. But, man, speed it up.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to see you standing over the ball for a minute. Hit the ball.
All due respect, you aren't good enough anymore.
That's true. Although he did have a pretty good U.S. Open. He wasn't bad there.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, I'll give him that. But I play with a guy, Chris Muir from Golf Discount. Never takes a practice swing. He just goes up there and hits.
Just go up and hit the ball.
Just go up and hit the ball. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's get a couple of texts before we get to Greg Amsinger. Matthew, what do you got on the old text line?
I'm sick of people complaining about money, and then I see them literally blowing up a bunch every weekend, aka fireworks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Literally
Every weekend.
That's a really good way to put it. I didn't think about that. I like that so much. Sick of it. Being an adult, I was much happier as a broke child.
There you go.
I agree. That's 100% true.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Money does not make you happy at all. Sick of it. Seeing St. Louis teams at the bottom of their division. My God, everyone sucks right now.
So this just struck me.
Not a good time to be a sports fan in St. Louis. By the way, you had all this movement yesterday and all these people spending money, and the Blues got Kapanen, and then they, MLS fired their head coach.
How about this?
It was not a great day.
We've got Josh Schertz. We've got John Hackworth now. We have the new Blues coach, Drew Bannister.
Mm-hmm.
Ollie Marmol, by a wide margin, has the longest tenure of any manager or coach in St. Louis sports.
It's incredible.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Pretty wild, isn't it?
And he's taking the most heat for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
Coming up, we're going to get to Greg Amsinger. MLB Network will join us, and we'll talk some ball here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. After a day off yesterday, the Cardinals will start a series against the Pirates tonight. 5:40 first pitch. It'll be Kyle Gibson, 5-3 on the season with a 3.7 ERA, facing off against the righty for the Pirates, Mitch Keller. Keller, 9-4 on the season with a 3.20 ERA. Yesterday, St. Louis City SC fired head coach Bradley Carnell. John Hackworth has been named interim head coach. In the press conference after the firing, Luce Pfannenstiel did say that their move was because they want to make the playoffs, and they'll have a chance to start that road. 14 games left on the season, and San Jose on Wednesday, 7:30 from City Park. Also, in a little St. Louis news, Jayson Tatum signs the largest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $314 million extension with the Celtics. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Brooke Grimsley, Danny Mac, Randy Carricker, the opening drive, 101 ESPN, and we head to the Celebrity Line. A native of St. Louis, Missouri, a product of the Lindenwood University, the lead anchor for MLB Network, Greg Amsinger, joins us now. Kind enough to join us on Tuesday, because on Thursday, we're all going to be off for the 4th of July. Good morning, Greg. How you doing?
I am doing well. Yes, I'll be off the 4th of July as well. It's nice when you have an employer that really cares, right? It is a luxury to enjoy a holiday with your family and your friends. Am I right?
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's fantastic, and we appreciate our bosses here, and I know that you appreciate Mr. Manfred taking care of you.
Yes, I do. I do appreciate Mr. Manfred an awful lot. He's a swell fellow, very nice and cheery, and I try to send him a holiday card, but I always seem to forget to do that. But I'll try to do it this year.
Okay, Greg, let's start with this because you're younger than I am. When I was a kid, we actually had fireworks, and we played with fireworks and threw them up in the air. We never had like any JPP incidents or anything like that. But when you were a kid growing up in St. Louis, did you ever have the opportunity, the ability to play with fireworks, with maybe bottle rockets, firecrackers, whatever?
My dad was like way into it. We lived in South St. Louis, like right near Gravway, right next to a roofing and plumbing company. So on an alley, that's where our house was. And we would set off all kinds of fireworks in the alley. And some of the stuff, it was so not safe that my dad did with us that to imagine my wife allowing me to do the same thing with our kids is like a joke. I can't, like my dad be like, all right, when you light it, you got to run. I don't even look back at it, run away, and then run at least 10 feet. Then turn around and you can look. And my 7-year-old self is going, okay, and I'm lighting this freaking machine, and I'm running away. It was just so unsafe, but at the same time, it was a blast. I mean, no one seriously got hurt, but that obviously could have been different. But my dad, to this day, loves fireworks.
Fireworks are always fun. Well, as we look towards the second half of the season and as the Cardinals get closer to the trade deadline, I think one of the big questions right now is who will really secure and take over that number 5 spot in the starting rotation. They're auditioning guys right now, obviously, with Matthew Liberatore and Andre Palante with another great start this weekend. And we even saw Gordon Graceffo come up in a relief role, of course. How do you think that will pan out, and who will take over that role?
Yeah, that role it's important to win the marathon, but it looks like the additions they've currently made are getting them to the marathon victory that they want. And I've always said this. There are 2 different seasons, Brooke. It's the marathon and the sprint. For the Cardinals to get into the month of September and be in a position to add to make themselves winnable in October, or get to October at least, they need more swing and miss. There's no question about that. The guys they have in the rotation are the durable innings eaters that will get them to the finish line of the marathon, but they're not going to be able to compete with the other clubs in this league if they don't add swing and miss. So I don't know if the focus is so much on like a Tyler Anderson from the Angels, who's getting a lot of notoriety right now. I think it's more the relief arms, the guys that have that swing and miss, that maybe the Cardinals would entertain having an even deeper bullpen. I don't know if their focus is so much on that number 5 starter role anymore because of what they like in the big 4 that they have. Now, that said, to expect 4 guys in their 30s to give them that durability all the way through the second half of the season and not have one hiccup health-wise, I think that's a lofty expectation. So they're kind of in the middle ground, waiting to see. Like, I interviewed David Stearns of the New York Mets the other day, and they're in the gray area right now. What do? You got Sean Manaea, you got Luis Severino, you got Jose Quintana. You can move those guys, and you can get value there. But are you in win-now mode? And his answer to that was, what's wonderful about our situation is we still have weeks to determine if we're in win-now mode. And I think the Cardinals are in the same boat. They're sitting there going, maybe we just add relief help, but if something were to happen, they've got time to make that decision to see if Palante or Liberator or Graceffo can actually grab the bull by the horns here and be that fifth guy. I think time will tell, but right now they're most of their focus in that front office is going to be on relief help.
It's interesting what the Brewers have done, and to me, they are just such a fun team to watch. Probably best described as greater than the sum of their parts. So I'll ask you, as a guy that watches this stuff every night, and you got such a good staff around you, how are the Brewers doing this?
It's great. We had Pat Murphy on a couple days ago, and he said, this great rah-rah answer. It's all about people. Christian Yelich cares about the guys next to him. Reese Hoskins has brought an edge. He only named his 4 veteran players that were on the team, and I really like that answer. Then I kind of dove into the youngsters that have been given opportunity that are really making a name for themselves. And while Contreras has cooled off, he is the most valuable player they have. To have a catcher that bats second every day, that is becoming an offensive force, that leads his staff, that traded away Corbin Burns, and there's no more Woodruff anymore in that rotation either. And the bullpen without Devin Williams just got a fractured back. The fact that bullpen has been as good as it is, and they do not have the swing and miss that they had last year, they are figuring ways out to be competitive in every game. That's what he's saying. Wins and losses come and go. I want to compete. I want to have a chance to win every game. And that focus has pushed this team into the fine lines of taking advantage of a game that's made up of inches. The Jackson Churio kid is just starting to get confident, to really get comfortable in the big leagues. If he ends up taking his game to new heights before the deadline ends, that's like adding another all-star outfielder. He's so young. He's not what we thought he was going to be when he gets a big contract before his first game in the big leagues, but he's starting to catch fire. This kid Perkins I really like a lot. The Frelick kid I like a lot. Bryce Terang is 10th in Major League Baseball in WAR, and no one knows that. He steals a ton of bases, plays Gold Glove, second base. There's something I like, Dan, about every single guy in the lineup. Would I trade the farm to get any of them? No, I wouldn't. Maybe William Contreras. But other than that, it's just a bunch of nice, pleasant surprises. Even Willie Adames this year is a pleasant surprise. So when everything's going in the right direction, you see a team that's 15 or 16 games over 500 and in first place.
Greg, we look at history and we see people like Willie Hernandez, a closer for the Tigers in '84, win a Cy Young. Steve Bedrosian for the Braves. Dennis Eckersley, Eric Gagne. In this day and age, in 2024, regardless of what Ryan Helsley does, his WAR is not going to be as high as starting pitchers. Is there any way a closer like Ryan Helsley, if he's on pace for 59 saves. If he gets 59 saves, is there any way Helsley could win a Cy Young?
I'm glad you used on pace. There was a day no one ever did that, and I pushed hard for that back in 2010. Everyone rolled their eyes at me. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to go out. This is a hot take. I started the on-pace craze in sports.
Oh, you did?
I'm telling you I did. I want to pat myself on the shoulder there, but I'm not kidding. Ryan Helsley, if he gets to 59 or 60 saves, I'm telling you right now, is going to get some Cy Young votes. Now, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, he's not going to be in conversation for MVP. And the reason for that is we have completely romanticized what the MVP is about. It has become groupthink. Everyone that votes on this, they're afraid to have an outlandish pick. They all follow the leader, and the leader wins above replacement more than likely. It's the most outstanding player in baseball. So that's what the MVP has become. I grew up in a day and age when Ozzie Smith was a finalist, one of the top 3 for MVP, without coming close to 10 home runs. Larry Bowa finished top 3 one year as shortstop for the Philadelphia Phillies. I like that. That is what I enjoy, because it was back in the day where the writers watched the games and they were the only ones that really knew. And when you read a recap of a game, they would talk about the play up the middle that Ozzie Smith made with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 8th inning, and how that was what won the game. But now it's about, exit velocity and spin rate and velo, and we've totally taken the storylines out of baseball. Value is something that's different to you as it is to me. Most valuable players should have a wide range of players that we believe are the most valuable to the club. Unfortunately, now it's a bunch of people in line that don't want to be embarrassed by the Ryan Helsley MVP pick, so they're just going to vote for the same 2 guys that everyone else is going to vote for. It really irks me. I would love to get back to the interesting MVP races.
Greg, as we look back at the first half of the season for the Cardinals, who was your biggest surprise?
That's really good. Look, I did not think Mason Wynn would be as polished. Now, I know he's not hitting 300 at the moment. He's over 280, but they've leaned on him. And really leaned on him. Most people that would answer this question, I think, would say that the starting rotation has been as good as it is. I did not expect anything but what we're seeing right now from the players that they added to that starting rotation. So I'm not surprised by that. I really think that Mason Wynn has proven to everyone that watches the sport for a living that his upside is even more massive than we expected. I think a lot of people thought they were looking at a guy whose ceiling was Royce Clayton with a better arm. Okay? Like, that's what people were viewing in terms of his hit tool. Even though he did thrive in the minor leagues offensively, to see him day in and day out grind out at bats at such a young age, it's exciting. And I think the sky's the limit for how good Mason Wynn could be. And when you end up looking at the total package, and what I mean by that is his offensive resume paired with his great arm and defensive range, we might be looking at, and I grew up, my favorite player is Ozzie Smith, we might be looking at a guy that could be on pace, Randy, for one of the best shortstops in Cardinal history if he continues to mature this way. He's more advanced offensively than I thought he'd be as a rookie. So that, to me, is the biggest surprise.
Thanks a lot, because we're going to do a segment that's Cardinals first half awards, and my most surprising was Mason Wynn, so I'm not sure what direction I go into now. So
play that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Just pull that
Dan, it's okay.
It's
we picked the same college. We picked the same college, so we have a lot in common.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that too, but we can get that. We digress. I was looking at the All-Stars potentially from the Cardinals, and I can make a case for maybe just one. I hate saying that, but it looks like, Ryan Helsley to me is a lock to be an All-Star, but maybe Sonny Gray. Is there anybody else that you could look at in terms of being potential All-Stars for the Cardinals?
I think that's it. We were talking about this the other day. I think Wilson Contreras was on pace to be an All-Star until he got hurt. His numbers now won't compete with the other catchers in the National League. But yeah, I think that's it. And if I told you before the season started, hey, I'm not going to give you the record. I'm not going to tell you how many games out of a wild card spot the Cardinals will be. But the only 2 All-Stars for the St. Louis Cardinals will be Sonny Gray and Ryan Helsley. Now, predict how good or bad the Cardinals would be. Everyone would think they'd be well below 500. I think, am I right? I think everyone would believe that. Mm-hmm. The fact that this team offensively has been as underwhelming as it's been, and I'm not kidding, the depth of which they have players that are position players, they're going to get some of these guys back. Edmund Newbar, the fact that Walker's in the minor leagues right now, the fact that they couldn't get anything going in center field from anybody that they played out there, to me, it makes the second half that much more exciting for the St. Louis Cardinals. To think that they're all collectively going to be so underwhelming again for an entire half of baseball, I'm just not buying it. So I think this is a playoff team. I've been saying that since before the season started. There are going to be more players with upticks offensively in the second half. And fingers crossed, one of those guys is either Nolan Arenado or Paul Goldschmidt, because it's just weird to see both of them playing below average baseball right now.
All right, that leads me into our final question for Greg Amsinger of MLB Network, lead anchor, and, of course the host of MLB Tonight. Has it happened, or will it happen in the second half, that the leadership torch of the Cardinals has passed from Arenado and Goldschmidt to Donovan, Burleson, and Wynn?
Yeah, I think so. 100%. And that doesn't mean that those guys aren't going to contribute anymore. But I think, when you watch Burleson dig in to the batter's box and there's a buzz in Busch Stadium again because they think this is the new offensive force of the team, that notoriety just ends up, adding logs to the fire, being the guy. He, to me, has such a massive upside. I get a chance to work with a lot of great former baseball players, and his name is the number one thing that keeps popping up. And it's funny because all we've ever heard is people that love the Cardinals, have been following the Cardinals, is this is the best bat-to-ball skills in the organization, him and Brendan Donovan. But Alec Burleson's got that kind of upside. It's the lack of striking out. It's the spraying the ball to all fields. He really, to me, he's like Sean Casey with more power. And if kids don't know who Sean Casey was, look him up. Look what he was able to do in his career. He was a Cardinal killer, by the way. I don't know why they pitched you in 2006 in the World Series. Anyway, but Alec Burleson could be that kind of force. And in St. Louis, if you're the best bat, if you're the guy that everyone can't wait to see hit, the leadership role comes with it. You're the one on the field being interviewed by Jim Hayes after every game. You're the guy. You become like the face and the voice. So I think Arenado and Goldie are going to contribute for the rest of the year and their time in St. Louis. But to me, Alec Burleson is becoming the face of the St. Louis Cardinals because of where he hits in that lineup and his immense upside at such a young age.
Greg, thanks so much for the time and joining us on Tuesday. Have a great 4th of July. Have a great weekend, and we'll be tuned into MLB Network, and we will talk to you next week.
All right. Enjoy your 4th, everyone.
Appreciate it, brother.
See you guys.
That is Greg Amsinger. He is the lead anchor for MLB Network, joining us here as he does every week on the opening drive on 101 ESPN.
Always good from Greg.
And
he
agrees that the torch has been passed. You guys agree with that?
No.
You still think it's Arenado and Goldie?
I think more Goldie, and I know that his numbers haven't been good in the second half of last year and going to the first half this year, and a lot of it is what you do on the field, but a lot of it is the respect that you command because of your resume. And so I'm not quite ready to pass the torch yet, and I think the players respect those guys on a high level. And not to say they don't respect Mason Wynn or Alec Burleson or Brendan Donovan. I think Donovan is starting to emerge in that role, but I'm still with Goldie, and I know I'm probably in the minority with that because of production, but I'm taking into account some of the intangibles that we don't see.
By the way, another 0 for 4 for Jordan Walker last night. He's 0 for his last 13 down in Memphis, so things not trending upward for the young Cardinal prospect.
I just don't know what's happening, man.
I don't either.
And that's so frustrating for the organization. It has to be, because at some point when you sent him down, you're thinking, okay, it's a tune-up, and it's going to be a long tune-up. But when he comes back, he's going to be ready to contribute. And right now, you can't say that he is.
No. He's kind of scuffling.
Yes, he is.
That's Dan. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. And coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Tioli next on 101 ESPN. Hey, St. Louis, get your exclusive City SC debit card from Together Credit Union. Together Credit Union is the only place to find this official fan debit card, and it comes with special perks like a free lifetime My City Plus membership, in-stadium discounts on food, beverages, and merchandise, and most exciting for you, you don't have to wait in line when you go to the game. Express entry into City SC matches when you have the City SC debit card from Together Credit Union. And as a special bonus, Together Credit Union is going to send you a commemorative print of City Park Stadium, the home of St. Louis City SC, while supplies last. How do you get the card? Easy. Open any personal checking account online at togethercu.org or stop by any of Together Credit Union's 14 local branches and choose the St. Louis City SC debit card at account opening. And there's no cost for the City SC debit card. So don't wait. Sign up today and show your pride for St. Louis City SC with the Together Credit Union debit card. Membership eligibility required, federally insured by the NCUA.
Take it or leave it.
Want to say something? Put it out there. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your take it or leave it.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Matthew, Brooke, Dan, and Randy, guys. Bradley Carnell, relieved of his duties as head coach at St. Louis City SC. I admit, I know nothing. But take it or leave it. In the long run, firing Bradley Carnell will be thought of as a mistake by St. Louis City SC.
I'll take that. I think that it was way too soon for City SC. I'm, of course, very supportive of City SC and everything that they've done. Last season was incredible, but I'm just very surprised that this is the way that you handle it so quickly.
I hate that they made this move, but I'm going to leave it. I bet they get a bump from this. I bet there's more players that get time that weren't getting time under Bradley Carnell, and so from the initial part of this is I think they're going to get a bump, and I think they're going to play better, so it becomes kind of an afterthought when you start playing better soccer.
In the long run, they need to get better players, though. They need to get players.
Of course.
They obviously
that's what it comes down to.
Right. Players make coaches. And whoever the next coach is, whether it's Hackworth or somebody that they bring in from the outside, and Diego knows what he's doing. He's been around big-time soccer for a long time. But ultimately, I would think that they need a coach with a voice. So I'm going to leave it because I think that they will bring in a coach with a voice that they will listen to.
I guess the other side of this is, as you guys were talking about earlier, is that this is just how it goes in soccer with just the way that you turn over coaching so quickly. Yeah. It's almost like hockey in a lot of the ways where the coach firings are just kind of part of the business and happens very fast. Yeah. So for me, guys, I don't know if you saw yesterday amongst all of the free agent frenzy in the NHL, Pat Maroon going to the Blackhawks. Take it or leave it. It's worse seeing him with the Blackhawks than the Bruins.
Totally take that. Yeah.
Got to take that. Although the Hawks are going to be awful.
Yeah.
So he'll be on a bad team, and then he'll get flipped and probably win the Stanley Cup.
That's right.
That's why you bring a guy like that in.
He will make Connor
leadership.
Yeah, in terms of a long-term play, 1 year in the room with Connor Bedard and Pat Maroon will benefit Connor Bedard big time.
I agree. I think it's a good move. All right, take it or leave it. Here's the numbers. Aaron Judge, his last 50 games, right-handed batter, .398, over a 1,400 OPS. That is the highest OPS over any 50-game span by a right-handed hitter ever. So take it or leave it. We're not paying enough attention to Aaron Judge, who probably winds up with over 60 home runs as well.
Got to take that.
I'll take that, yeah.
Doesn't that shock
That's
you to hear that
amazing.
number ever?
Yeah, that Babe Ruth never did it or Bonds never did it.
Albert?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is. It's the best ever by a right-handed hitter over a 50-game span.
All right, Matthew, what do you got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. Now that it's July, the opening drive has the chance to go from good to great by covering the actual sporting events that matter in this month.
I'll take
Wimbledon and the Tour de France.
I'll take it. Yeah. We got a chance. Yeah. I like bicycling.
All right, Brooke, step up.
What do you have against Wimbledon?
I love Wimbledon. Wimbledon, I know because I know Alcaraz is going to win.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say something?
There you go. You have a new name in the tennis world. Yeah.
I would very much like to Sparta kick Lance Armstrong in the chest for making us all care about the Tour de France for like 3 summers in a row.
Greg LeMond did before that.
He made it a thing, and like people gather around TV. You time waste an SOB. I hate him so much for that, and lying and cheating and becoming an American hero despite all the lying.
How about though what he did for Livestrong?
I was going to say
those stupid bracelets. I hate again.
How many of those did he have?
Millions of dollars in cancer research.
A fantastic charity that literally got turned into a status symbol among 12-year-olds.
You still saved.
Oh, you had those bracelets, didn't you?
I got made fun of for not having one.
Saved a lot of lives with it. Saved a lot of lives.
Ruined my summer though.
I understand that.
This is entirely
Saving
personal.
lives ruined his summer,
this is a
Dan.
seething
Did you hear
personal
that?
hatred I have for Lance Armstrong.
And by the way, it was 7 Tour de France's, so he gave the cycling world a guy,
but did
a
America
villain, everybody.
Did America watch the first 4? Is my point.
I did.
I feel like we all got really big for the last 3 or 4.
And I agree. I'm in the minority of watching it. Yeah.
Take it or leave it. The Blues will not be a cap team, and it's concerning for you.
I will totally leave that. Yeah. A cap team has hurt them. Being a cap team has prevented them from making moves the last couple of years. Having some cap room is a good thing.
I agree, and you're not going to win next year, so why not kind of look at what Nashville's done? Nashville spent a lot of money yesterday and just say, we're not ready, but when we are, we're going to have plenty of room to make those moves when we're ascending, and younger guys have another year under their belt, maybe 2, and that's when I'd spend my money.
Look at the Golden Knights, for example, or the Avs yesterday. You're kind of really stuck in a tough position because of that.
Yeah. So, and I'm interested. I would not be surprised if the Predators would win a Stanley Cup, and I think they did everything right. Saros is old. Yossi, not old. He's 33, but Yossi's 34. They've got a team in their prime that's going to have a window of a couple of years to win a Stanley Cup. When you have that window, you got to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
I can't believe they got Stamkos yesterday, by the way.
And cheap.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
See, that's another guy. You want legacy in Tampa Bay, or did they just say
he wanted to stay there?
Yeah, they said no.
So it's the organization's decision.
Yep. Take it or leave it. Blues announced at least 2 trades, one with a departing defenseman and a Buchnevich move by the end of the week.
I'm going to leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I feel like they're going to sign Buchnevich. Maybe I'm in the minority, but still.
I'm with you. I don't think they trade him. I think they keep him. I think they sign him to some type of deal that makes sense for both sides. And I do see them, though, moving a defenseman somehow, some way.
That'd be great.
Yep. They need to.
Yeah. But all the good... Not all. Yeah, they are. All the defensemen that would have been attractive to me are gone off the market.
Things moved quickly yesterday.
They did.
One last one. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals should trade Donovan instead of giving him that extension we talked about yesterday.
Leave.
No, I'm going to leave that. I've always said that I think that the value for Brendan Donovan is everything that he provides for the Cardinals. The leadership capabilities, a big part of that, but the utility factor, and that you can literally put him anywhere and he does really well.
He's your best player.
He is.
He might be. I'm trying to think who else would be there.
I mean, offense, you can count on him anywhere defensively. You mentioned the utility. You can play him anywhere. You can play him every day at second. You could play him every day in left if you wanted. You could play him every day at third if you wanted, and he'd be really good.
I wonder where he goes when they get healthy. So when you have Edmund coming back and you got Lars Nootbaar coming back, I'm fine with him playing left field. I think he's been fine. Not great, but he's been more than serviceable in left field. Does he become a second baseman? Does Tommy Edman become a second baseman? There's a lot of things coming up that'll make it in a positive way interesting for the Cardinals.
And I would think, and we kind of kicked this around yesterday, Daniel, Gorman probably finds himself in Memphis.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
He's been awful here lately. There's no other way to put it. He's been terrible.
Yeah.
And you can't live with that, a black hole in your lineup like that. And again, he's going to probably walk into 25 home runs before it's all said and done if he stays here. But he's going to hit under 200 with a massive amount of strikeouts when you have other guys that probably could be more productive offensively outside the home runs.
109 strikeouts so far. And what's crazy is he still leads the team in home runs with 16.
Yeah. It's
good problem to have, though.
Yeah, hopefully that power, he'll just become more consistent in getting his bat on the ball. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, St. Louis City SC has played one full season, and they won the West in that full season. Yet, they fired their coach. What do we think? That's next on 101 ESPN.
It's hot out there, and if you're tired of paying high utility bills every month because your home's AC keeps running, it's probably because your windows aren't energy efficient. If yours are builder grade or over 8 years old, the seals are likely broken, air is leaking out, and you're probably paying a higher price in utility bills all year long. Window Nation's high-quality windows are built
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here for Universal Windows Direct. The heat has arrived and it's only going to get hotter from here. Do not cool off the outside this year. Go call my guys over at Universal Windows Direct. I personally love when it's warm outside, but I never exactly love, of course, that energy bill that comes with the warm weather. That's where Universal comes in handy. Their windows feature super spacer technology, which helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. So your windows from Universal perform better and they last longer. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, get the next 2 for free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 3 years. Restrictions apply. Universal Windows Direct backs it all up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home, and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Mention my name and get an additional $250 off your next project. Go to UWD.com. That's UWD.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
perspective on today's top stories. This is Fresh Take.
Presented by Lindenwood University. Real experience, real success.
It was lots of tight games. It was lots of draw games. I mean, if you draw a game, it could go either way. But I believe we left many points we should have had. We left them lying there where we shouldn't. And I think it's simply a time now where we realize we have to do better. And that's when we want to reset and have these fresh starts with new players coming in as well very, very soon. And I think that's the way we have to look into the future. I don't really want to look too much back now into 2023. It's done, and yes, it's a great achievement. But in the end of the day, we need to look forward. The future is that what we're here for, and we want to achieve our goals. And I believe we still can do that.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, who had a team that, like he said, with a lot of tight games, a lot of draws, 10 draws, said they left a lot of points out on the field. And so when they have a lot of tight games where they don't have enough players that can score that key goal at a key time, the coach took the fall. Bradley Carnell yesterday, St. Louis City SC in 12th place in the West with a record of 3 wins, 10 draws, and 7 losses for 19 points. 2023 is in the past, but 2023 is also reality. Okay, you might not want to think about 2023, but the fact of the matter is, you have a coach that can coach a team with lesser talent, I think everybody agrees, to a conference championship. So I get that they are frustrated by what has happened this year. I just don't understand why the coach is the fall guy. If you played a lot of tight games, let's be logical here. He said we've left a lot of points on the field in our 10 draws. What's Bradley Carnell supposed to do? Clearly he was playing the wrong players. Well, you can tell him to play the right players. Maybe you could get better scores. Maybe you could not let some of the scoring that you had last year get away.
I was just very surprised by the news, and I'm still surprised and trying to digest it still because of the way that everything played out. Even with the press conference yesterday, I don't know if I got any more answers because you had Lutz bring up the fact of if they would have won this past weekend, then they wouldn't have made that decision. I know that there was more going on there because if you listen to the entire press conference, it's definitely a carryover from last season. We all saw it, the second half of last season and how disappointing the playoffs were. That was very frustrating, and for things still to not really go off this year, I can understand that. I just thought that they would give him a little bit more time, considering that just 5 months ago they gave him an extension. Mm-hmm. So when you hear that, I think, okay, maybe this year will not be this year, but you are still giving him time with that extension to really work on things. And there's been a lot of key injuries with players this season, too. You've had to play a lot of the season without Leuven. Remember, you dealt with that injury. Now you have João Klaus out. There have been countless injuries to a lot of your top players. So I thought that, not that you would say this year's a mulligan, but you'd give him a little bit more time to work through it.
Not only that, Brooke, but let's listen again to what Lutz had to say in the middle of this cut. Listen to him about the new players that are coming in.
I think it's simply a time now where we realize we have to do better, and that's when we want to reset and have these fresh starts with new players coming in as well very, very soon. And I think that's the way we have to look into the future.
Good. So new players coming in very, very soon. Mm-hmm. So it's the coach's fault that the players aren't there yet?
By the way, I know when this all started. I do. I knew that this started when we had him on the air. And I asked him a question, and he said, "What would you do?" So he put me on the spot. And I said,
on the spot.
You just don't do that.
Yes.
You don't put baby in the corner.
No, you don't do that. You know what's weird, though, is I had heard rumblings even at the end of last year about this. I had heard that, and I was like, what are you talking about? I don't like the move. I don't think it's a good move. I think we have forgotten that this is an expansion team. This is trying to build this thing up. And I understand they're not playing well. I understand they're blowing leads. I understand that, maybe some of the players that weren't being used properly is a problem here. Then go to the coach and just tell them, you're going to play these guys. This is what we want. This is the direction we want to go in. We have a new portion of the roster coming in, and you give them that shot. And then if it doesn't work at the end of the season, then let them go. I didn't like the move whatsoever. I didn't think it was the right move.
No, I did not like it whatsoever either. Now, the other part of this that I thought was interesting is, okay, my first initial reaction after the firing is, well, are they wanting to change the style of play? The style of play isn't going anywhere. No. And Rocc, I know that you were there for the press conference yesterday too. So the style of play isn't going anywhere. I thought that was big. Sam Adeniran was another question because we know that there was some issues and they were both very candid about it, especially Carnell on our show about Sam Adeniran. He was back at training yesterday. So I thought that that was all very telling about this whole firing situation.
Yeah, they got to get him in the lineup and let him do what he does, which is be a very productive player. I got to wonder what's going on behind the scenes, and this is part of what you're talking about, Brooke, is his relationships with players and if they've just completely tuned him out. I mean, this must be pretty egregious to make this kind of move and say that we're just not getting the most out of this roster, and we don't see that we're going to get the most out of the roster, so you're out.
So the Fast Lane has T-shirts made up that say, be patient. We need to have opening drive T-shirts made up that say, be impatient.
You want impatience? You want people just getting fired?
I want city colors that say impatient.
Well, they'd probably fit.
Yeah.
Not on our bodies, but it would probably fit the narrative.
Yeah, so far. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And by the way, I think the one point that we need to reinforce here is that Diego was brought in as president and GM while the team was playing last year. I wonder, and he was part of the press conference yesterday, I wonder how much of a role he played in making the change. And Carnell wasn't his guy. So I wonder how much of a role Diego played in making this change.
I would also say that maybe we shouldn't be surprised by this, is that the league shuttles through coaches all the time. And as Brooke mentioned, it's kind of like hockey. They have their run. Then it maybe falls on deaf ears and you make the change. But, yeah, I was surprised. I don't like the move, and I wish he was still the coach.
Also, just from a media standpoint, I do want to say that with Bradley Carnell, he was always great to media members. So that's always tough, too, when you see that. You always appreciate a coach who's very candid with you. I know for a fact, because he mentioned it several times, that he was really hoping to stay in St. Louis for a while and really make it a home. He really built and bought into the expansion and building soccer up even more so in St. Louis. Of course, soccer here has such a rich history, but he was really invested in growing it more into the community.
Rocc, you are involved in the soccer community. Were people shocked?
Yeah, there was there's definitely a lot of people who were shocked. There was a contingent of people who were happy because they're just results oriented and he's not winning, therefore get him out of there.
Yeah.
So I think there was definitely a split group of people, and there was a group of people who were happy because they're not winning right now. And so anytime you're not winning, there's going to be a group of fans who are just 100%. If you're not getting W's, you're not doing enough. You're not working hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. You're not enough. And obviously they don't care about context variables or anything along those lines. And so that group was obviously and always will be happy when these kind of things happen. But I think there was definitely some people who were confused, and I think there were people who were kind of right in the middle who can see both sides of it.
By the way, if you're going to whack a coach, why do you put on social media and on your website, thank you, Bradley? Why don't you say, you suck, Bradley? I mean, you just fired the guy.
You're trying to soften the blow, Randall.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, what are you thanking him for? Nothing. Thanks for nothing, Bradley.
The inaugural season, Randy.
But it's just said that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And also, they talked about 2023 a lot, despite it not being a thing anymore. But my thing is, like, I'm not crazy that saying that this firing goes back to a few games from the end of last season makes you have to then say, okay, then why give him an unnecessary extension in January? Because clearly you were questioning things from the end of last season. It wasn't an Ollie situation where he was coming off a bad season or where he was going into his last year, so it wasn't one of those situations. So why give him the extension if you were asking questions to close out 2023 instead of just letting the first half of 2024 happen and then saying good enough or not good enough? Like, the operation seems odd for what they're saying it was now. It just seems like the actions do not match up with the explanation, is all I'm saying.
The thing left unsaid in the press conference yesterday in the stories is, who does Mbappe want as the coach?
Oh, that's what you were waiting for, wasn't it, Randy?
Mm-hmm. Completely left unsaid.
Everything comes back for you to Mbappe.
Mbappe.
Love that dude.
All circles back.
Circles.
Which is funny, too, because yesterday everyone was like, hey, how much does the United States have just to pay Jurgen Klopp to come coach the national team? And I was like, these fans are just like Randy, just what can we do to spend a boatload of money to get somebody who doesn't want to come here?
Where are they at in payroll in the rest of the league currently right now?
City?
Yeah.
Overall team payroll is at the bottom of the league.
Yep.
But yeah, you're an expansion team, and again, I don't think that's a thing. People are trying to make that a thing. I think in your second year, when it's a league that is extremely tied to cash spent from ownership and those kind of things, even with the salary cap, your ownership group just shelled out $600 million just right off the bat to get things going. I think it's a little ridiculous to be like, why aren't you spending $9 million extra on a European 34-year-old? I think it's a weird complaint.
25, I think.
I'm making a Messi comment because there was some text of people like, well, Messi's salary is double their total salary and things like that. I think it's a okay complaint to one point, but I think there's a lot of, again, context that we're ignoring.
That is today's Fresh Take on 101 ESPN. Coming up, the NHL's first day of free agency has come and gone, and it did for the Blues quickly, too. That's next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird report. After going 7-3 on the homestand, the Cardinals are back on the road for 7 games, starting with the 3-game series against the Pirates tonight. Kyle Gibson will get the starting nod for the Cardinals, and it will be Mitch Keller for the Pirates. In the month of June, Gibson recorded a 3.97 ERA, while Keller produced a sharp 2.35 ERA. First pitch tonight is at 5:40.
The Redbird report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
It's a Tuesday morning. That means it's time to talk to Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. Now, if you're someone who is looking to purchase a home or refinance, or if you're looking to consolidate some of that ugly credit card debt, maybe you don't know what exactly the direction to go to in any of these things, let me make it easy for you. Call Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. We called him this morning. Stewie, what do you have for us?
You know what? This is very important. We live in the best country. Don't ever forget that. You can be a homeowner. Take the opportunity. If you're not sure you qualify or not, give us a call. We'll find out. July 4th is here. Recognize where we are, the best country in the world. Now, this Friday, the employment numbers are coming out. We expect employment to be dropping a little bit, so that'll be good for interest rates. Take advantage of the opportunity. Get 100% financing with the bagel loan, no closing costs, and get in the home of your dreams. better than anybody else in the world.
So if it's a new home you're looking to purchase, Stewie, he's going to get you to the closing table fast. Try 10 days, and he'll get you the best interest rate possible. He also has, as he mentioned, the bagel loan. That can help you out, too. So what's the bagel loan you're asking? If you borrow $200,000 or more, there's no underwriting fees, no appraisal fees, no title fees, no lender fees, and no closing costs. Stuart is your guy. He makes it easy. Any questions on rates, the industry, the trends, give Stuart a call. Here's his personal cell phone. Write down this number. Text him. Call him. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Or what can you do, Stewie?
Google the bagel loan.
Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
First day of NHL free agency came, and the Blues are nowhere to be seen in any of the winners or losers categories. I think the Blues just kind of flew under the radar, with their only signing being Kasperi Kapanen returning for a 1-year, $1 million contract.
I was going to say, now, Randy, they signed Kapanen. What do you mean that they weren't seen? Are you saying that they ghosted everybody?
Kind of, or maybe everybody ghosted them. But you look at the division, and obviously Dallas is still good. Winnipeg is still good. Colorado is still good. Nashville got a lot better. I think that the Blues are clearly right now at best fourth in their division, and a lot of intriguing players came off the board, whether via trade or free agency.
All right, you ready for my lines? If this was opening night, I'd have Thomas centering Bolduc and Kyrou.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I've got Buchnevich with Neighbors and Shin.
Okay.
Kind of interchangeable with Buchnevich and Shin, potentially. Saad, Texier, and Torpchenko. And then I have Dean centering Walker and Kapanen. And I'm kind of in and out with a lineup with Sundqvist waiting for him to get back healthy. And I left out Dvorsky because I'm still trying to figure out where he fits in the plans after training camp for the Blues.
Oh, okay. Well, you have a lot of newer faces in there.
See, I'm thinking outside the box here, Brooke.
Yeah. I'm interested in Dvorsky and what he's going to be able to do. But for my top line, I still have Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, and Jordan Kyrou. Of course, if they sign Buchnevich to an extension, which I feel like that's a move here. I know that yesterday was not exciting whatsoever. You have all the teams making all these crazy moves. Nashville, by the way, spending over $100 million yesterday. Getting Stamkos, getting Brady Shea, getting Marchessault. I mean, I could not believe the moves they made. They put all their chips in. And so I know that that's really hard to watch that yesterday when you see a team like the Predators going all in and you're like, okay, well, Blues, what's your move? Kasperi Kapanen. Okay, great. I'm guessing that they're going to sign Pavel Buchnevich. I like what you did there with some of the younger players. I still feel like I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact of their centers. I feel like they still need another center, honestly.
Well, you can move Texier to a wing. So that's something that you could do. So if Dean or Dvorsky earn the, let's say, third-line center spot, then Texier can move to a wing. So you do create some space potentially in that regard.
And one of the things the Blues don't want to do, and they're talking long-term, this is going to be what they hope is a long-term sustainable level of success, and they don't want to take ice time away from Dvorsky when he gets here, from Snuggerud when he gets here, from Bolduc, from Dean, rather than having a 32, 33, 34-year-old playing now that's not going to be here when you're ready to win a cup again. They want these young players to grow and emerge and be ready to win when the team is ready to win. Now, they were really... I'm bothered by the fact that they don't have Snuggerud this year, because Snuggerud is not going to be an impact player for 2 more years after he gets here, okay? The NHL and NCAA are completely different animals. So he's going to play 24, 25 in college. He'll play 25, 26 here. Maybe towards the end of 27 is when he starts to emerge as a really good player. So that's when we're looking at 2027 for Snuggerud to become the player that we hope he becomes. But that's why it's advantageous for the Blues to have Dvorsky available to them now, because he's getting those NHL minutes, so he can start emerging at the end of 26.
And that would be the time that you probably have cleared enough space to say we can be like Nashville was yesterday. We can go out and make some moves. We can get impact players. You guys want to hear my defensive pairings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I got Letty Parayko. I got Krug and Falk, and Perunovic and Kessel. Tucker's kind of in and out.
Yeah.
But those would be my defensive pairings. And then obviously Jordan Bennington would be my goaltender with Hofer backing up. And they better, I heard you, Randy, but they better hope that Bennington was like he was a year ago, because if not, you're probably looking at, I think because of the changes and the improvements of some of the teams in your division, you're probably looking at mid-80s points, maybe even lower, but probably an 80-point team.
A playoff team?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I really enjoyed that goalie tandem last year. I just am still curious to see if there's any other moves that they can make, that Army can make with this defensive core.
I also think that there's something up his sleeve. I don't.
Doesn't it feel that way?
A little bit, just the way that he goes. But then I think there's also the practicality look at this, like Randy said, where, okay, young players get experience, and I don't know if you agree with this, Randall, but young players get their experience, including this year, next year, and then the year after that is when you go full tilt. You say, okay, we're ready to go. Let's spend the money. And I do love the idea of seeing young players get the chance to play. And I also think that the fan base is okay with it. I do. I think sometimes you can placate to a fan base and go out and spend money when really you're not ready to make that move. And they've been very upfront and honest in saying we're probably not going to the Stanley Cup Finals, so let's make sure that we do this properly and develop players, and I think that's the right direction to go.
It's the youth movement right now, and it's never fun. I think that sitting through a rebuild or retool is not fun, but to your point, Dan, I feel like they've been very candid about what they're doing and what they're trying to build right now.
And I appreciate that. I think fans do too.
There were 2 things that disappointed me. Number one, I thought that the Edmondson deal that the Kings signed him for was manageable for the Blues, and that's the sort of player the Blues need. Or the Capitals trading virtually nothing for Jacob Chychrun, who's only 26. He fit into that age range that Army talks about. He's making $4.25 this year. He's kind of like a left-handed Parayko. He's just an emerging guy. He's big. And the Capitals only gave up a 3rd-rounder and kind of a 4th-line guy, Nick Jensen, for him. I would have loved to have seen the Blues make a move for a guy like Chychrun.
I was surprised by that, too. I thought that maybe there was a couple of other moves that I thought, okay, that could work out for the Blues. And then they continue to go off the board. Oh, that might work out for the Blues. Go off the board. Even if you look at Stamkos, I thought that could have been somewhat manageable for the Blues. But I do understand the other factor of this of the player has to also decide on where they want to go.
Yeah, but at least this was a deal. You could have just made the deal.
Could have made the deal. I think the one that stings a little bit is what you did with Kevin Hayes and the 2nd-round pick. And when you talk about trying to rebuild or retool, in this case, that one probably sticks in the craw of Army a little bit. I don't like losing picks. When you're trying to get younger, you're trying to get young guys a chance. You're trying to develop, and I didn't like that.
It tells you how he fit in with them.
Oh man, right? It tells you that he was supposed to be a lot better, and probably a guy that in the locker room you thought was going to be more of a leader, and wasn't.
Yeah, Army's talking about being young and fast. And Hayes is neither.
No. And I also think leadership, though. You probably were bringing him in to help some of these young guys, and they didn't get back what they thought they were going to get.
And you have a chance, too, just to see the future with Dvorsky. He talked yesterday about how, of course, he really, really wants to make the team, and so that's a possibility for him. And you can go see him at the prospect camp, which is going on right now.
And our buddies, BK and Ferrario, will be out there again today from 11 to 2. And then tonight, you'll be able to hear the prospect game here on 101 ESPN. The blue and white prospect scrimmage at 6 o'clock this evening with Alex Ferrario and Joe Vitale here on 101 ESPN.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be good. I can't wait to hear it. Coming up next here as we roll on the opening drive on 101 ESPN, we've got, we got the fight. You need a fighter, Matthew? Matthew needs a fighter, so just text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. And maybe Matthew will pick you to fight me next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, but you don't have a vehicle to trade in, you need to go to AutoLoanPro.com. That's what I did a couple of months ago when my car was totaled and I needed a new vehicle. So I went to AutoLoanPro.com. I downloaded their playbook to learn exactly how to use AutoLoan Pro, and then I got the vehicle that I wanted at the payment that I wanted from AutoLoan Pro. If you can make a payment, they can get you into a new vehicle. And they understand that people are going to be put in situations sometimes where they aren't able to make a trade-in, so they need to get a good loan. Well, the Auto Loan Pro people are working with over 50 lenders, not just a couple lenders, to help you get the very best financing available for you. And you can also, when you go to AutoLoanPro.com, you can use their drop-down and find a vehicle at the website. That's what I did. You are in the perfect spot in the right hands with AutoLoanPro.com. They understand that people can be put in rough situations financially, and they'll help you out at AutoLoanPro.com. If you can make a payment, they're going to get you in a vehicle. Financing a car, there's only one thing to know. Choose the Auto Loan Pro at AutoLoanPro.com.
This is Rocc, your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The big name news in St. Louis yesterday. St. Louis City SC fires head coach Bradley Carnell after an uneven start to the season. John Hackwork is named interim head coach. Also yesterday, Jayson Tatum signed the largest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $314 million extension. And the Cardinals are back in action tonight, 5:40 first pitch as they start their series against the Pirates. Kyle Gibson faces off against the righty Mitch Keller. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American State heating and air conditioning dealer.
In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke, Dan, and Rocco here, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Lee. Lee, how are you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, good. How about you? You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit. Are you driving right now?
No.
Ah, Lee.
Oh.
So it's good to have you on the show. Lee, are you with us? Oh, come on, Lee.
No.
Well, we may have to get another fighter, Matthew, and get Lee on tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do.
He did sound really excited for the little bit I could hear him.
Oh, he sure did, and he was ready to take on Randy, and we were so excited to have Lee on the program. It's, I'll tell you, we're on fire. Randy's on fire this morning because he knows it's a short work week, but I was really, really excited to have Lee on the show.
I know, I was too. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was in the car, and I hope something else didn't happen there.
Oh, he's fine.
And
he
we're
was
working
just
on another fighter?
He just had bad cell service.
It's okay.
You know.
Oh,
maybe I'll take
fighter?
on Randy, even though I know the answers.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little too late because you already have the answers right in front of you. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing great. Thank you for hopping on so quickly. We did have Lee on, and sadly, he was not able to make it. So you are stepping up to the plate now. Is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
It is not.
How did you fare the other time or times against Randy?
Actually putting a winning record on the line against Randy today, so might be kind of foolish. I've got him once, got really lucky against him once, and then got destroyed by him once.
Okay, well, away we go. By the way, are you feeling confident this morning?
Mediocre.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Lee really sounded like he was coming in hot, so we need a little confidence from you this morning.
All right, I'll try and step it up.
Okay,
There
sounds
you go.
like you're fired up. Okay, here we go.
All right, here's question number 1, Ryan. Who leads the Cardinals in career pitching losses with 74, losses with 174? Is it Bill Doak, Jesse Haynes, or Bob Gibson?
We'll go with Gibby.
All right. Which team did Jay Bouwmeester play for before signing his free agent deal with the Blues in the summer of 2013? Was it the Panthers, the Thrashers, or the Flames?
Calgary.
Boy, a lot of quick answers, confident answers. I like it. Question 3.
When the Grizzlies relocated to Memphis, where were they moving from? Montreal, Minnesota, or Vancouver?
Vancouver.
Question 4, who was the only pitcher to pick up wins in all 3 of the Giants' even-year World Series wins in 2010, 12, and 14? Was it Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, or Madison Bumgarner?
I feel like Mad Bum's the obvious answer.
Oh, Ryan, I'm just thrilled with how you did this morning. I'm going to go get Randy.
How are you feeling?
I feel okay.
You never know how it goes.
Pretty confident on a couple of them.
There you go. Here comes Randy. Did you already have your grapes today, Randy?
I did.
You did? Why are you so disappointed?
I thought I was going to talk to Lee Greenwood today.
Oh, yeah.
Proud to be an American.
But we have Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
Don't disrespect Ryan. Don't disrespect
sorry to
him.
disappoint you.
No, you don't disappoint me, brother. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. It's great to have you with us.
Ready
Absolutely.
for question number 1?
I'm ready, Brooke.
Who leads the Cardinals in career pitching losses with 174?
174 pitching losses by a Redbird pitcher. I'm going to go with Bob Gibson.
255 wins, 251 complete games.
Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which team did Jay Bouwmeester play for before signing his free agent deal with the Blues in the summer of 2013?
Actually, Jay Bouwmeester was traded from Calgary. They traded multiple picks and a nominal player to Calgary for Jay Bouwmeester.
Okay.
Didn't have to wear number 19 with the Blues, especially in honor of Steve Yzerman of the hated Red Wings. But he did.
Are you done?
Done.
On to question 3.
The Blues made a big move was how dare he wear a number that I hate.
From the hated Red Wings.
Okay.
Blank and Yzerman.
You ready for 3?
Stupid. I'm ready.
Okay. When the Grizzlies relocated to Memphis, where were they moving from?
They actually should have been moving to St. Louis. We know this, don't we?
Talk about this.
Michael Heisley purchased the Vancouver Grizzlies and moved them
in there.
to Memphis. So, yeah, we had him. Bill Laurie, he owned the Grizzlies. Owned them. But then the league wanted to keep him in Vancouver for a year. He said, nope, bailing. So he bailed, and he nixed the sale of the Grizzlies, who would have been the St. Louis Grizzlies. Actually, they would have been the St. Louis Rhythm. They already had a name. They were already selling luxury suites for the St. Louis Rhythm, so we could have had the Rhythm and Blues in the same building. Vancouver.
Okay. Final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right. Question 4.
Ready.
Who is the only pitcher to pick up wins in all 3 of the Giants' even-year World Series wins in 2010, 12, and 14? Do you understand the question?
I do understand the question. It's one of 2 guys. It's either Kane or Mad Bum. And I'm going to go with... did Mad Bum... I'm going to go with Matt Kane.
All right. Final answer?
No. Should I go with Mad Bum instead? He was pretty good. He was only 20 when they won in 2010. And they had Jonathan Sanchez. Kane was kind of like their number 1. I don't know if he was that effective in 14. You know what? I'll switch. I'll go to Mad Bum.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Matthew, do your thing, please.
Well, we have quite the interesting result here because I actually just have to play this a little early.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
Because you both hit the freaking jack on this one. It's a 4-4 tie, which means we got to go to a tiebreaker. Ryan, I always feel bad when people hit the jack and still got to go to the tiebreaker, but them's the rules, them's the breaks.
You think you
so
feel
let's
bad?
go through the questions and the... What'd you say?
You think you feel bad?
Yeah, there you go. Let's go through the question. You don't feel bad about any... No, what?
I feel bad that I hit the jack and didn't win.
That's fair. Let's go through the tiebreaker rules here. I will read out the question. We'll give Randy Carricker a moment to write down his answer. As soon as he's written down his answer, we will then get Ryan's answer audibly over the air. Randy Carricker can then confirm his answer, and then whoever's closest to the pin is walking away with a win today. Ryan, do you understand those rules?
Yes, sir.
Randy, do you have your paper?
I do. I got to get some more Lindenwood paper. We need an LUPC meeting, but I do have paper. It's just not Lindenwood paper today.
All right, here we go.
Ready.
What was Albert Pujols' final career regular season hits total? What was Albert Pujols' final career regular season hits total?
By the way, can I correct myself?
Yeah.
I knew I was saying it wrong, but Bob Gibson, 251 wins, 255 complete games. I had it reversed. I don't know why I said that.
Even noticed that you reversed it is absolutely
It came out of my mouth weird. I don't know, and then I just reflected on it.
I can't remember exactly how Jay Bouwmeester got here off the top of my head. You remember that?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. Randy Carricker has given us his answer. Ryan, do you have an answer for me, sir?
I've got a guess. I'm kicking myself. I can't remember if he got up to 3,000 or not, so I may be lowballing. I'm going to go 2888.
Randy Carricker, he went 2888. What did you write down, sir?
I wrote down 3154.
All right, so I guess the big question here, was it below 3,000 hits, or was it over 3,000 hits for Mr. Albert Pujols? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Albert Pujols broke 3,000. He actually crossed the 3,300 threshold, finished with 3,384 hits in his regular season career. So, unfortunately, despite hitting the jack, Randy Carricker's going to beat you today in the fight thanks to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, no problem. I still don't have a losing record against them, too. I'll take 2-2.
Absolutely.
There you go. Great job.
Good for you.
And you guys heard all the correct answers. Let's go through them just in case. Who leads the Cardinals in career pitching losses with 174? It is, in fact, Bob Gibson. What's the win total again?
251.
251 with 255 complete games.
Yeah, I would have. In your brain, it makes sense to flip the two.
Yeah, I just wasn't thinking right. I knew it came out wrong.
He has losses from complete games. That many losses from complete games. Which team did Jay Momister play for before being traded to the Blues? I just wrote down that question and didn't go back and double check my thing because in my mind he signed here as a free agent. My mind's not Randy Carricker's mind. That's why he does That's why he's Mega Mind and he does the fight and I write the questions. And so he was traded here for the Blues in the middle of the 2012-2013 season after 30 games in Calgary, and of course he was with the Flames. When the Grizzlies relocated to Memphis, they didn't come to St. Louis. They left Vancouver and went to Memphis because Randy likes to make me sad about those memories.
Yeah, had him.
But the good thing is that's the only time St. Louis has fumbled the bag on a pro franchise.
Yeah, really.
It's the one time. Who was the only pitcher to pick up wins in all three of the Giants' even-year World Series in 10, 12, and 14? It is, in fact, Madison Bumgarner. 1 win in 10, 1 win in 12, and then 2 wins in 2014 because he was just absolutely freaking ridiculous by the end of it. So a 4-4 tie, and then it was Albert Pujols' final career regular season hits total of 3,384 for a win for Randy Carricker. But a great job, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ryan. He stepped up. I know that maybe we were hoping for Lee, but Ryan did really well today.
Lee said he was caught in the hills and valleys of Washington, Missouri. He said I would have lost 4-2.
Aww.
You know, Washington, Missouri, back in the day, had one of the best Taco Bells of all time.
Really?
Wow,
it was unbelievable.
That's so random. What is your favorite thing from Taco Bell?
Oh, I'd get a meat burrito or something. I would just pound those things. I was sleeping in my car at that point. I would call high school football games in Washington, Missouri, and then I do the wrap-up show on a Saturday morning, and so I would just sleep in my car, go get Taco Bell, get in the back seat, get a really nice night of sleep, and then go do the wrap-up show on a Saturday.
Love that.
If you would have
the best Taco Bell.
If you just would have stopped Danny Mac's sentence as, back in the day, Washington, Missouri had the best, and then just asked for text messages, I think we would have gotten 50 guesses before somebody said Taco Bell.
It was unbelievable. The meat that they gave me on that, really, I was stealing.
Oh, I know what you mean, because when you have a good Taco Bell finally, then you remember it.
Exactly.
You remember every detail, and you would make a trip back out there, wouldn't you?
I would, and it was the same person at the drive-thru every time. Just remarkable.
Brooke, what's your favorite Taco Bell menu item?
I like the quesadilla, but really anything. Crunchwrap, Supreme, any of that stuff is really good.
Did you ever sleep in your cars, guys?
I never did.
A wrap-up show on a Saturday that no one would listen to?
No, I never did.
Even my mom wouldn't listen to it.
Really?
Oh, no. She's like, the hell with it. I'm not doing that. Why would I listen to this?
I'm sure she supported you from afar.
Did. She was awesome and is awesome.
For part of that time frame, when I would have been sleeping in my car, I had a little tiny Honda CRX that didn't even have a back seat.
Yeah.
So it would have been rather uncomfortable. I'm sure that you had that little Mazda at that time, didn't you?
No, that was after my Horizon. When I got that Mazda, I thought I was high in the hog, brother. I thought, wow, I got a Mazda. No, and that's no disrespect to those that are driving Mazdas. They're very fine cars. I just thought, man, I've really made it.
Yeah, me too. I had one too. I had a year and then traded it in. Anyway, I like the number one with regular tacos from Taco Bell.
What's in a number one?
3 tacos. You can get 3 tacos Supreme or 3 regular tacos, and I go with 3 regular tacos. Yes, sir.
Crunchy or?
Crunchy.
Yeah,
okay. Because you said regular, and I was like, wait, are you saying that soft? Like, I had to figure out what we were talking about here.
Are tacos with soft shells really tacos?
You call it like,
yeah.
What is you wrap them a different way? It could be a burrito.
I was going to say, are you just calling them like an unwrapped burrito?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like an unsealed burrito, I guess? Yeah, a loose burrito?
Yeah.
A loose burrito.
That's what it is.
Well, the size of it matters, too.
Well, I think actually that's what a taco is. I think crunchy tacos are an abomination that don't deserve the word taco if you were asking a real person.
Yeah, you know what is non-filling?
For being honest,
is the cheese roll-up. Good, but not filling.
What's in a cheese roll-up?
Cheese and a little fake taco soft shell.
Yeah, Taco Bell's always been the Mitch Hedberg joke of fast food places. Yeah. Taco Bell's a great place if you want to eat 13 of something.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to move on here. In the next 5 years, if you could see one athlete perform in person, who would it be? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN. Hey, Danny Mac and I both went to Lindenwood University, and you can get a great education without breaking the bank at Lindenwood, one of the most affordable private colleges in St. Louis, and you don't have to sacrifice quality for incredible value. All you need to do to apply or schedule a visit is go to lindenwood.edu. Lindenwood has been around for a while. They were founded in 1832, so they've been educating St. Louis for almost 200 years, and right now they award over $30 million in scholarships and grants every single year. So if you're looking for a great place to go to school, if you're a youngster looking for a spot, or if you're an adult that has a youngster that's on their way to college soon, check out one of the most affordable private universities in the region, with great traditional and online programs available for every stage of your academic journey, and special discounts for military members and veterans and their spouses and children. It's Lindenwood University. You can learn more at lindenwood.edu. A great Division I campus experience: football, basketball, women's basketball, great sports, great time, great education at lindenwood.edu. Got a chance over the weekend to see Simone Biles' brilliance again as she made the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team. And we've seen so many incredible performances already in 2024. The amazing Shohei Ohtani, who has a chance to be a Triple Crown winner. Connor McDavid leading the Edmonton Oilers to the Stanley Cup Finals. Scotty Scheffler doing what he's doing. So with where we are in this sweet spot of sports, with so many good young athletes that are playing right now, if Brooke, Dan, Matthew, you had an opportunity to see one athlete in person over the course of the next 5 years, who are you picking to see?
Ooh, that is tough. So for me personally, and my window is very short here, so it wouldn't even be... Can I get two just because this player is actually retiring this year?
Sure.
Rafael Nadal, it's always been a dream of mine to see him play in person. And he is retiring at some point in 2024. He hasn't said exactly when. He's not playing in Wimbledon currently right now, but Rafael Nadal was one of my favorite players growing up. It was Serena Williams, Venus, and then Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, king of the clay. So it's always been a dream of mine to see him play in person, especially if I could see him on clay. That would be a dream come true. The other one for me might be another tennis player in Carlos Alcaraz, which he is a new up-and-coming tennis player. I would love to see him in person.
I went golf. I went Scotty Scheffler, and I will see him in person at the 2026 BMW Championship at Belle Rive, and I can't wait to go. I think the crowds will be enormous like they were for the PGA Championship. I think a lot of people took pride in the fact that St. Louis really showed up for that. But I may have to see him in a crowd of 15, 20 deep, but that's a guy I want to see. I want to see him ball strike. I want to follow him around. I don't necessarily need to see him putt, even though his putting's gotten a lot better this year. I think he was 162 last year, and he's 80 this year. I don't care about watching him putt. I want to see him ball strike, and if I could watch that for 18 holes, I think my jaw would drop and just sit there and go, wow, this guy is back to where... I'm not saying he's Tiger, but he's Tiger-esque run right now, and it'll be interesting to see where he's at in, a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
I have been so lucky because I've seen Connor McDavid play here in St. Louis and play at a high level. I've seen Steph play. I've seen LeBron play. You know who I've never seen play in person is Patrick Mahomes.
I haven't either. I would go see him in person.
That's what I want to see before he is, because football players, we see it all the time. Before he's not in his prime anymore, I want to see Mahomes play in person.
And Arrowhead.
Yeah, aren't you surprised, Brooke, that he hasn't gone to Arrowhead and with Patrick and taken in a Patrick Mahomes game? Or let me ask you this. Will you pay for an NFL ticket, or do you have to get it comped?
Yeah, I probably got to get it comped.
You won't give your money to the NFL?
No, probably not.
Okay.
I would go see Patrick Mahomes. I think I'm a Titans fan, obviously. But at the same time, the fact that you can see Patrick Mahomes play in person, I enjoy watching him on TV. He makes it so fun. I don't know if you saw the interview the other day. Tom Brady won. He's going to be a great broadcaster. I don't know if you've seen some of the recent work he's done and interviews, but he's going to do really well this year, so I'm looking forward to that. But he mentioned that one thing he regrets about his time, his playing career, is that he didn't have more fun like how Patrick Mahomes has fun. Tom Brady, of course, was very serious. We saw him. It didn't look like, I wouldn't say that he wasn't having fun, but he was known for being very serious out there. Patrick Mahomes always looks like he's having fun. I know we've seen moments of anger and stuff, but one thing with Patrick Mahomes is that he always shows passion. I would love to see that in person.
Let's see. The 618 says the one athlete I want to see play in person currently is Paul Skeens, as crazy as that sounds.
Yep, that's...
You're going to have plenty of opportunities with him coming through St. Louis with the Pirates. The Cardinals, by the way, I believe in this series, miss Skeens. But they get Jared Jones and they get Keller tonight, who's been really good. He's 9-4. But Skeens, watching a good pitcher, watching a well-pitched game, that's something I enjoy.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch him. By the way, somebody who we haven't brought up yet, what about Caitlin Clark?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch her play.
Me too.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think another one, Simone Biles. We luckily had her here.
Yeah.
Did you go see her here in St.
we were
Louis?
in the stands, yeah.
So that's a reason why I didn't bring her up, because I did get to see her. Now, seeing her at the Olympics, that would be a bucket list item to be able to see her. This is her third time, of course, making Team USA in the Paris Olympics. If I could go specifically just to see her floor routine in person, she reached, 12 feet
12
the other day?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12
That's
feet.
crazy.
She's 4'8".
Do you think she can dunk?
Well, there's...
Reincarnation is Spud Webb here?
Yeah, the rim is 10 feet, and her body was 12 feet in the air. I wonder if she can dunk.
So her head was at 12 feet. So based on her arm length,
they do have springs, don't they? Like
not on the floor.
Oh,
no.
not on the floor.
No.
Oh, okay, that's true.
It's just powerful legs.
I feel like she'd get close to Spud winning it. Yeah.
Michael Phelps would be fun to watch in his
even
prime.
now.
Even now.
Yeah.
I did an interview with him at an event. He was fantastic. I mean, he was one of the most electrifying interviews I've ever done. And we've interviewed, all of us, so many different people, but in his personal life, what he's gone through to get to this level, overcome some of the demons that he's had, it was like you were hanging on every word that he had to say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
Coming up, the Rush Hour Reset on 101 ESPN. The Fenton Bar and Grill, just 2 minutes from Soccer Park, is the home of the best trashed wings in St. Louis. They're absolutely delicious, and when you go by, number one, tell Fenton Bar and Grill that Randy sent you. Order the trashed wings, have some of them with the signature golden sauce or the delicious ranch, and you will have a meal in and of itself. But if you only want to have the Fenton Bar and Grill's fantastic trashed wings in it as an appetizer, that's a great way to go. They have wonderful sandwiches. They have their BBBLT, piled high with slices of house bacon or on Texas toast with lettuce and tomato. They also have a fantastic Reuben sandwich, a French dip, and they have fantastic wraps and burgers as well. So if you're looking for a great lunch today on a beautiful day in St. Louis, stop by, join them on the patio out at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Say hi to Megan and Kelly and Casey and the whole gang. And when you go, make sure that you have the best wings in St. Louis. It's on Rudder Road in Fenton. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com. And when you go to Fenton Bar and Grill, tell them Randy sent you.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
.908 in St. Louis time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So as it turns out, they do have springs in the mats of gymnastics competitions. For all this time, I thought they were jumping really high.
And, well, you replied to somebody because somebody said, sorry, RK, but there's definitely springs in the floor for gymnastics. And you said, wow, thought it was just a mat, cheaters.
Terrible.
Do you not hear the springs, like whatever
So
they're
she
on
can't
there?
jump 12 feet in the air?
No.
Okay.
Not without the springs,
Lame.
of course. It still takes a lot of talent.
No,
of
none at
course.
all.
Yes, it does.
I could jump on a trampoline.
You cannot jump 12 feet on a trampoline.
Sure I could.
With the triple double leading up to it?
Oh, no. Your trampoline's not big enough. But I could jump 12. She's jumping on a trampoline.
It's not the same. I can't with you. This morning.
Cheaters, huh?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Unbelievable. So deceptive.
One of the prime athletes in our country and cheaters.
Well, I wonder why. Now I wonder why all these people are giving her all these endorsement deals.
Okay.
Isn't that deceptive advertising too?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right,
Randall.
we have to get you on a mat now to see if you can land the triple double.
Oh, God.
I would love to see you running and then do a backflip and
I'm
then
not
land
saying
it.
I could do it. I'm just saying that she's claiming that she can.
All I thought of was the scene from Old School where they have to do the Olympics, and one of them has to do like the floor routine with like the baton and the paper thing behind it. Oh my God!
What do you think is harder, the beam or the uneven bars, rings?
The beam makes me scared.
That one's terrifying because
that scares every guy.
I was going to say, if you
I was like,
flips
why?
over it,
No.
you can bash your head. That's why somebody in the YouTube chat was like, why would Simone Biles be on your list for the last segment? She might up and have a mental scare and not compete. It's like, yeah, because if she's not locked in, she snaps her neck.
Well,
I feel like it's a pretty legitimate reason to maybe be like, yeah, I'm not in it for today, people.
Hey, breaking news. Athletes are human, too, and they do have emotions. So things do happen. Yeah. She had a case of the twisties, is what she called it.
Back at the Olympics?
And she didn't want to
2020.
snap her neck.
Yeah.
Well, it's, sports can be stressful. There was a center for the Raiders named Barrett Robbins who literally disappeared the night before the Super Bowl.
Yep, it happens.
Yeah. So mental health is a thing. And she deals with it every day. And she's as tough as they come.
Still the greatest of all time.
No doubt about it. Cards and Pirates tonight, 5:40 with that one, and you'll see it on Bally. Kyle Gibson going against Mitch Keller. The Cardinals trying to get back to their winning ways. They knocked off Cincinnati 2-0 on Sunday, had the day off yesterday. Hopefully the bullpen will be a little bit rested today. It's going to be the All-Star break before they really get their arms back. But the Cardinals have to use these couple of weeks before the All-Star break to just try to Jimmy Evans was talking about it this weekend. Take advantage of teams that are getting ready for the break and play hard and beat them up.
I agree with that, and I also think, though, that this is a tough series because you're going to see very good starting pitching. And if you're the Pirates, man, you're in it. You're only 3 games back of the Cardinals, and that's why this is important inside the division, inside the wild card. And the Pirates, I'm sure they're in a position where they believe. And why wouldn't they be buyers come trade deadline? I mean, you get organizations that haven't been there in a long time. I think they should be aggressive. You owe it to a fan base to try to get in, and you just don't know when you're going to be in that position again. So that's why I think this series is very important for both teams.
What I want to see is that obviously this was a great homestand with the Cardinals going 7-3 on the homestand. How can they improve on the road? Because currently they're 3 games below 500 on the road. We've seen them struggle. The last time they were on the road, you had that loss to the Marlins, which was really tough to see. Can they build upon this momentum and do better on the road?
Got a hit. I got to see Arenado and Goldschmidt. We're a broken record when we say this, but they're just not hitting all that much.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, they pitched very well. Their bullpen has been very good, but got a hit, and this is going to be a tough series to do that.
Yep. The new top 100 prospects list is out. Jackson Holliday, as you might guess, is still number 1. James Wood, just called up by the Nationals yesterday, is the number 2 rated prospect in all of baseball. The Cardinals only have 2 of the top 100 right now. And they've called up most of their guys, but Tink Hence is the number 43 rated prospect, and Quinn Matthews, left-handed pitcher who's pitching at Springfield, is number 100. But when you call up Wynn and you've got Burleson here and you've got Donovan here, the guys are, and Matthew, you can weigh in. You've got so many of your young players that have already been called up, and Walker isn't a prospect anymore.
I just want to say that Hence and Matthews have also been selected as the Cardinals representatives in the Futures game.
Okay. Thank you. And the reason Walker isn't a prospect is because he's played too much at the major league level.
It also is an indictment a little bit that you're pitching. You haven't had people to call up. Now, Graceffo came up the other day and pitched very well, but you'd love to be able to dip in your minor leagues and say, hey, if we need a spot start or if we need relief help, like they did the other day, that you've got it. So it's a good thing that Graceffo came up, provided a little bit of a relief for that bullpen, but that's something they've been trying to get all year, is to find somebody down or two in the minor leagues that can help out the major league club.
That's why I think the bullpen is something they're definitely going to address when it comes to the trade deadline coming up here, because you need that at this point. But how do you handle Graceffo moving forward? I know that he's part of the Memphis shuttle. I understand about having those fresh arms coming in the bullpen. Do we see him again here soon?
I think we have to, because of the way he performed.
And there's only one off day prior to the All-Star break, but you got to wait when you sent him back down. But the way he performed, I mean, you'd feel comfortable bringing him back up. And he used his changeup a ton. He had only thrown it a handful of times down in the minor leagues, and he showed that the other day. And that to me was his most impressive pitch. He got his first major league strikeout on the changeup. And sometimes when guys change their repertoire a little bit, it is beneficial. Not all the time, but it is beneficial. And maybe you're going to see that, and that'll be a key for him here at the major league level.
And we'll also get an opportunity to see Jakub Basiakovic at some point, probably this series. He was brought up when Gordon Graceffo was sent down.
Pretty good story. Former position player, now pitching, and went to independent baseball, then was assigned and had a pretty good spring. So it's somebody that you rely on. Maybe you can buy a couple innings with him, maybe a couple of appearances, and then go back down to the minor leagues.
6'5", 240, by the way, big fella.
Big man.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jakub, that's what I'm going with, Basiakovic.
Do you miss Jacob Verana?
Jakub, yeah.
Remember when it was Jacob for a little bit?
It was, yeah, and then he did his promo for us. When he did the promo, that's when it was Jacob.
It was, yeah. He changed his name to Jacob.
Yep, Jakub, we hardly knew you. Coming up next here on 101 ESPN, we've got our Cardinal first half awards. The first half complete. As we head into the second half, who are the most valuable Cardinals, and who is their Cardinal Rookie of the Year? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN. All right, so I've got some news for Brooke. Everybody wants a sweet treat on their birthday. Well, Schnucks wants to celebrate their Schnucks Rewards members' birthdays with a free, freshly baked donut on your birthday. That's right. It's free. It's all part of the new personalized perks in the Schnucks Rewards app. To get the free donut, all you have to do is add your birthday to your rewards profile in the Schnucks Rewards app. And when your birthday rolls around, just clip the free donut coupon in the Schnucks Rewards app and redeem the coupon at checkout. Brooke, it's that simple. The coupon is good for your entire birthday week, so no worries if you can't make it into the store on your special day. Make sure you get your birthday freebie by downloading the Rewards app and adding your birthday to your profile today. And don't forget, when you head to Schnucks to pick up all of the necessities for your 4th of July barbecue, you can get 4% back on your entire cart when you download the Schnucks Rewards app. Make sure that you use it effectively. Get great deals on everything you buy for the 4th when you go to Schnucks.
I did not think Mason Wynn would be as polished. Now, I know he's not hitting 300 at the moment. He's over 280, but they've leaned on him and really leaned on him. I really think that Mason Wynn has proven to everyone that watches the sport for a living that his upside is even more massive than we expected. I think a lot of people thought they were looking at a guy whose ceiling was Royce Clayton with a better arm. We might be looking at a guy that could be on pace, Randy, for one of the best shortstops in Cardinal history if he continues to mature this way.
Greg Amsinger earlier today here on 101 ESPN. He's the lead anchor of MLB Network, and if you want to hear that entire interview, you can hear it on the 101 ESPN app or the 101 ESPN webpage, 101ESPN.com. And all of our podcasts are brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. So we've got our Cardinal First Half Awards, and we're going to start with our most valuable bird. Guys, I'm going to go with Brendan Donovan. He's played in the second most games, leads the Cardinals in hits, leads the Cardinals in doubles with 18, leads the Cardinals in RBIs with 41. He's played wherever they need him to play. He's played well defensively, and he's kind of become the leader in the clubhouse. He's certainly the leader of the young players on this team. He's a winning ball player, so I'm going to go with Brendan Donovan as my most valuable bird.
That's a good pick. I am going with Ryan Helsley. The bullpen has been a big factor into the success for the first half of the season and how they were able to mount that comeback after starting 15-24. That was a big hole that they dug themselves into, and I think the bullpen was a big factor in their success, and Ryan Helsley is the star of that bullpen. 30 consecutive saves, fastest in Major League Baseball to do so. So to me, he was the most valuable bird of the first half.
15-24, Brooke, back on May 11th, and they've gone 28-16 since then. Best record in the National League. So they really have turned this thing around. Most valuable bird, I would have gone with Wynn, Burleson, Donovan. But if I had to pick one, I'd go Alec Burleson, because you were anticipating that he may have to find starts at the beginning of the season. Like, where were we going to fit him in? Where was he going to play? Was he going to play right field? Is he going to play left field? Can he get a couple of spot starts at first base? And now you've gotten to the point where you can't take him out of the lineup. He's a threat. He's played good right field, played well out there, so I'm going with Alec Burleson.
All right. For the Adam Wainwright Award, the Cardinals Cy Young Award winner, best pitcher on the Cardinals, for me, While I want to give all due respect to Ryan Helsley, I got to go with Sonny Gray, 9-5 with a 2.98. Yeah, he's been everything that I would have expected and more. The Cardinals are winning a lot more than they're losing when he starts a game. 109 strikeouts, only 23 walks. And while he hasn't been close to what he was last year as a member of the Twins, he's been really, really good for the Cardinals.
That's actually who I picked as well. I didn't know if you were going to go with Sonny Gray. So
who else would you pick as the best pitcher on the Cardinals?
Well, I mean, you could have also gone with Ryan Helsley in that situation. True. So either or. But I also went with Sonny Gray. If you look specifically at the month of June, he had a .98 whip there. And he's just a whip. I like when you say it. You do it better. I was trying to do what you usually do.
Whip.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you for finishing that for me. He currently also has the 7th best ERA in the National League at 2.98 overall, right behind Max Fried. So he is very valuable and very important to the starting rotation.
I went with Ryan Helsley. I mean, what he's doing is historic to be at the save mark that he's at. If he continues on this pace, he sets the all-time single-season record for saves for the Cardinals. And essentially, when he has rest, it becomes an 8-inning game. Mm-hmm. He's going to come in and shut the door. Mm-hmm. When he doesn't have rest, he makes it interesting, which is the case for a lot of closers. But I went with Ryan Helsley just because he truly has been dominant at the back end of games.
I am going to go with Mason Wynn as my Cardinal Rookie of the Year. You know, you got to look at Michael Ciani, who's had a fabulous year, but he doesn't. His numbers don't live up to the standards that Mason Wynn has set in the first half.
Mason Wynn was my pick as well. I mean, the emergence of him as a real, true Rookie of the Year contender has been really fun and amazing to watch. And I think that he was one of the most valuable players, especially in the first half.
So Rookie of the Year and most surprising, I had Mason Wynn, but I'm going to change that up with my most surprising, but I'll go with Rookie of the Year, Mason Wynn. I think it's got to be. You know, with the way that he's played defensively, his range there, he's got a big-time arm, and the fact that he has hit way better than I thought he was going to hit. He has been a stabilizing force. You think about where he was at the beginning of the season. He was down in the lineup. Now you move him up to the top of the lineup. He gives you a great AB, so it's got to be Mason Wynn for me.
Guys, my most surprising is Ryan Helsley. I kind of made a judgment on him last year, and it was unfair. Last year, he only pitched in 33 games, and I think there were a lot of people, and I was one of them, that questioned his ability to stay healthy and be there every day for his team. This year, after posting 33 times last year, he's pitched in 38 games. We've already mentioned the 30 saves, all of them coming in a row. He's finished a league-high 36 games. He's been fantastic, but the most important ability is availability, and I didn't think that he would be able to present that, and he has for the Cardinals. So Helsley is my most surprising.
I think that's a really good pick. I'm going with Alec Burleson. I was not expecting for him to continue to do this. Obviously, June was a huge month for him, but especially his emergence as the Cardinals' number 2 hitter has been the biggest surprise to me.
Most surprising for me is Michael Ciani. And here's a guy that if you were healthy coming out, if the Cardinals were healthy coming out of spring training, I'm not sure he even makes the team. And now I'm not sure how you get him out of the lineup. His defense has been spectacular in June. I think he had 10 outs above average in terms of trying to make these great plays. He did. He's hitting a little bit. His hits have come in a timely fashion. I don't think anybody anticipated this guy doing what he's doing, and he's made the most of it. He's getting a chance to play and show that he needs to be a guy that you can rely on a little bit, especially defensively. And you know what? You make the most of it. You get a chance, you run with it. And he's done that so far this year.
And then finally, the Cardinals were 15-24 on May 11th. They were 9 games under 500. And I think a lot of people were thinking, okay, we might actually have a couple of people to choose from for Cardinal Manager of the Year by the 1st or 2nd of July. Cardinal Manager of the Year is Oli Marmol, and he, I know you might hate him, but there's a lot to be said for being 9 games under on May 11th and then being 3 games over on July 2nd. And the manager deserves credit for what he has done with this team. They're playing for him. He's not, especially because the big boys aren't giving him everything that they've given in the past. He's had to deal with the issues with the number 5 starting position, the number 5 starter, and he's had to move people around. He's had to put a guy like Ciani. So think about the start of spring training. Okay, you figure Edman is going to be your your center fielder. Then you figure it's going to be Carlson. Then you figure it's going to be Scott. Then it's Ciani. You're on your 4th center fielder.
Walker.
Jordan Walker has not lived up to expectations. Nootbaar has been hurt. And despite all of that, the Cardinals are 3 games over 500.
Yeah, it's the best record since May 11th, as we mentioned earlier. And It's, by the way, Ollie's birthday, so happy birthday to Ollie.
Oh,
He's
happy
only
birthday.
only 38, one of the youngest managers, if not still the youngest manager in baseball. But I look at how he's handled the bullpen. When they saw the emergence of Romero, who I think they thought initially would be like a 6th or 7th inning guy and maybe come in and get that crucial lefty, now you have to feel comfortable with him when rested, coming in, righty, lefty, it doesn't matter. He's going to get somebody out, and so he's part of that big three. And Kittredge has been really good. I'd put him as maybe my most surprising guy, too, just because he's coming off a couple of injuries in seasons the last 2 years, and now has bounced back. I think you got to be careful with him, but also how he's used Ryan Helsley. You talk about availability, and when there's nights off and they don't push him, he's available the next day or the day after that. So I think the way he's handled the bullpen has been magnificent.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I had Ryan Helsley as my most valuable bird, just because of what he's been able to do for the Cardinals this season. And for Ollie Ramal, that is a lot to manage, considering all the injuries. And I think it all goes back to when he was thrown out in that Rockies game. Things, you could really circle it back to that, where I think that was something that was very important for him to show to the team. Question from the 314, didn't Alec Burleson hit 340 in the minors? Why is everyone so surprised by him? He's a stud. Fair point about how he was able to do things in the minors, but we've seen it time and time again where sometimes it doesn't translate over to the majors. And even last year, he had his struggles offensively and defensively at times where he was inconsistent, but the adjustments that he's made during the offseason, I think that's another part of why he's one of the big surprises, because you can see the work that he put in and it's paying off.
And he's playing every day. I think there's something to that. When you get a chance, you play every day, timing, how sharp you are, and having the ability to play every day, too. Sometimes you get pigeonholed as just a left-handed bat coming off the bench, and he's not that. He needs to be in that lineup every single day.
And to your point, Brooke, about getting in shape and improving his defense. I kind of thought last year he was a DH, and I think the Cardinals did when they told him get in shape and become a better defensive player, and he did. And offensively, yeah, he's always been a good bat-to-ball guy. I think he's probably providing a little more pop than I expected that he would provide. So I would think that most people in baseball would not have figured that he would have a dozen homers and 11 doubles at this point in the season.
314 says Kyle Gibson, most surprising. He was on my list for that, so we're thinking along the same lines. I just didn't anticipate him being this good. I thought he would provide innings. He's done that historically in his career, so that's not a surprise to me, but the effectiveness of how well he has pitched has surprised me a bit.
So those are your Cardinal midseason awards here on the opening drive. Coming up next as we roll on here on 101 ESPN, a little bit more about the firing of Bradley Carnell by our friends over at St. Louis City SC. That's coming your way on 101 ESPN. My friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck are celebrating their 56th year in business. They've been one of St. Louis' top names in home improvement with a commitment to put quality and professionalism first in everything they do. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they're going to provide the best and largest and longest-lasting outdoor products available with skilled installation teams that carry out the mission to be the very best in customer service and quality craftsmanship. I have been a customer and a fan of Chesterfield Fence and Deck for a long time. Got my fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They told me it would be a lifetime product, and it has been. And they have great warranties. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they apply a 5-year labor warranty and comprehensive material warranties for everything that they will provide. You can get a great deal on a fence, a deck, a sunroom, screen room, pergola by getting in touch with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. See their products at chesterfieldfence.com or give them a call at 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Some breaking news just coming across. St. Louis City has officially announced the signing of Marcel Hartl from German club FC St. Pauli. Cardinals back in action today. Blues, we'd like to see some action. Cardinals back in action today. 5:40 first pitch. Kyle Gibson takes on the righty Mitch Keller. That is your Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Matthew just gave you is good news. Is that guy related to the Vegas forward in the NHL?
Is that Tomas Hertl?
Yeah.
I think it's spelled differently, so I don't think so.
How's this one spelled?
Hartel. I think it's Hartel.
Okay, good.
Hartel's probably how it's spelled. It's pronounced. I've been saying Hartl. It's probably
fine.
It's probably Hartel. They don't have a pronunciation guide on the release.
Okay.
But they do have other stuff on the release if you want me to read it here.
So John Hackworth is going to have a new player available. Will this guy be good to go tomorrow, you think?
No. None of the players are actually available until the transfer window opens on July 18th.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cedric Teuchert, though, yesterday there was a social media announcement. Roman Berkey was one of the coaches' picks to the MLS All-Star game. And in the background of one of the photos with Berkey, you actually can see Cedric Teuchert in the weight room. So he is, and Carnell, before he left, had confirmed that Teuchert was pretty much in St. Louis working with the team. So Teuchert's here. Hartl obviously is in town right now, signing his deal and everything, or was when they took the photos that they've posted. So yeah, he will be available on July 18th when the transfer window opens.
So let's spin this forward. Bradley Carnell has been relieved of his duties by St. Louis City SC. John Hackworth, who is actually with the organization longer than Bradley Carnell, is the interim coach. He won a City 2 championship. And Matthew, I want you to weigh in here as well. I wonder if, kind of like Craig Berube with the Blues, or Drew Bannister, if the interim could wind up getting the permanent head coaching job.
Wasn't that discussed during the press conference yesterday that that's not exactly the plan?
Well, I think it was more that they said they're not going to hire somebody else this year that won't be the long-term coach.
Yeah.
But I don't think that ignores the possibility that Hackworth is the long-term choice. Yeah, I mean, he's a great coach. He obviously he knows the system. He's been coaching the youth players. He's been on the coaching staff for Carnell. This past year, again, he was the coach for the MLS Next Pro Team, City 2 in 2022. He was the director of coaching when they originally hired him in 2021, when they were kind of trying to build the actual like pyramid of coaches and things like that. So Hackworth obviously is very intimately tied with ownership in the front office. He knows what they want. They know what he can bring. So it wouldn't blow my mind if he was ever chosen to be the actual head coach full on, but it does kind of maybe feel like something where they feel like they can use him in a lot of other opportunities. So, keep using him as like a jack of all trades around the organization, somebody on the bench who gives you another attitude or another perspective without actually having to be the guy that when things go wrong, you have to axe.
You brought up Craig Berube earlier, Randy. Which firing was more surprising to you guys, Craig Berube or this with Bradley Carnell?
I'd say Carnell for me.
Me too.
I mean, with Berube, he was so beloved here, and you won a Stanley Cup. I just thought that was kind of surprising for me. He had so much cachet within the organization. That was more surprising to me, and the fact that you're only a year and a half into your expansion seasons, and that's what really catches my attention. That's why I always think with a situation like this, there has got to be underlying issues that maybe we never hear about as to why you make this move. I understand that the results haven't been there, but to me it was really surprising, and as I've said time and again, I don't agree with the move.
I know that they don't look at it this way, but I think if, as a fan, you look at the big picture and say, okay, they had all this time to put together the perfect staff for an expansion team, and then you fire the coach a year and a half in, that tells me that they didn't do a very good job of vetting and hiring their coach. Because for an expansion team, you hire a coach that you think is going to be there for a while. You hire a guy like Tom Coughlin, and I know that it's a different situation in the NFL, but you hire a guy to build a franchise like he did in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. You hire a guy that you think is going to be there for the long time and help your team grow and be there when the team grows. Well, if you fire the guy a year and a half in, then you didn't hire the right guy.
And 5 months ago, you gave him an extension.
Yeah.
So whenever I hear extension, I know that things can change, of course, and that doesn't give you complete job insurance. But when somebody is typically hired to or is given a contract extension, don't you guys think in the back of your mind, like, okay, that means that you're able to kind of settle in here for at least a little while?
More than a year and a half for me.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised at that. But I also think that this is the environment of sports, and in particular, the MLS. I mean, they recycle some of these guys, but they,
like that.
we talk about it in hockey, but this is kind of the mindset for organizations in soccer, too.
And I think part of it is because you can make so many moves and you can shift your team around because you have the multiple transfer windows and the ability to buy and sell players, to loan players, to bring in players on loan. There aren't a lot of ways to shift around the team and make and change results. And I think that's why they're so quick to change coaches, because they think like, well, if we can get 3 new players, which is the exact situation that City's in. This is the 3rd player that's going to be joining them on July 18th. If you have Cedric Teuscher, we just mentioned, a striker, and then Jake Girdwood-Reich, who's a center back / center midi. You bring these guys in and you say, well, if we can change the coach then and get a whole new kind of mix going in the blender, maybe we can start getting some wins. And that's the thought process. I'm with you guys. It feels early to me. I'm pushing back against the ideas of there being off the field stuff, just because even the stuff we've been.
What about a dinner run?
If a player isn't training as hard as he's supposed to in practice, isn't running as much as he's supposed to based on the team's scheme in the game, and based on my look, no one said this from the team, this is my address, and based on how I've talking to players, was being a ball hog at times. It simply wasn't passing, wasn't hitting the open man the way he was supposed to. I know he's a striker, but this is a scheme that you bring everyone in. He was being a little bit of a ball hog, too. And he even made jokes about one of the goals where he's like, yeah, if I don't score that, Klaus is going to be mad at me because he's wide open on the back post. So you combine those 3 things, and the coach said we're going to suspend him because he's not giving it up in training. That's what a coach is supposed to do. That's the coach's job. I don't know why people are then holding it against him because one player is saying, well, you guys could have sold me in the winter to a European club and you didn't, and now I'm mad that I'm not getting playing time because I don't feel like running. How are we blaming a coach for that reaction and not the player?
But part of it, too, is relationships.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, too. And maybe the relationships not only with him, but other players were starting to sour. And because of that, they felt like immediately we need to make a move. Because if you lose the team, which by all accounts, it sounds like he lost some of the main guys, then
but we're talking about one
that's
guy
a problem.
there. That's one guy.
But what I'm saying, there might be underlying factors that we don't know about that he may have lost other players, and only they would know that.
Only they would know that. I feel like we would have heard things around that, and just that, like the complaints around the only other thing we've heard is that apparently AZ wasn't happy, but AZ's Sam Adeniran's roommate, and AZ also watched his playing time kind of evaporate this season, so he probably wasn't in a very good mood either. And that's the thing is when there's so much movement in soccer, I think there is a tendency among soccer players, because there's so much movement, because there's so many leagues that you can go play in, there is a lot more restlessness among soccer players to say, this isn't a fit here, I'm not getting minutes, loan me out, sell me this next window to any other club that'll give me minutes, that'll give me a different look. That, I think, is a factor here, because the thing that happened with Nicholas Dewar, he wanted to go. He didn't fit here in St. Louis. He wasn't getting minutes, and so what they do? They sent him right back home where he's comfortable in Denmark. That makes sense, and it doesn't. It says more about the player to me than it does about his situation here.
I think the Sam Adeniran thing is also interesting because I thought, okay, yeah, you're moving on for him from the reasons that you explained, which have been widely reported. But the other part that was confusing is then he's back at training yesterday. The optics of that looks very strange.
Yeah. And honestly, the comments from Lutz didn't seem like they were all that like head over heels like Sam's going to be playing. They're like, yeah, he's going to be available, but he's still got to do his work, and we're still looking at trades and transfers with him, and so but getting him out there with the team makes sense. Like, I thought their answer at the press conference was a half measure. I'm a little surprised by how many people are like, oh, Sam's back, he's going to be starting on Wednesday. I very well might be wrong. I think he's still probably sold in the transfer window, and I don't think he makes that big of an impact, because this isn't the philosophical thing isn't changing. Like, that aspect of run training, run on the field, that part,
same playing style,
that's staying. And so I can't imagine a lot of other coaches on City liked Sam's attitude issues when it came to not running at training either.
Their peripheral stats should put them in like the top 5.
Some of them, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And that's something that you look at you look at the coach and you say, he has put these guys in a position to score. It just hasn't happened. Like, Klaus has had a really down year, and now he's going to miss 6 weeks. So some of that, you got to give credit to the coach and say, you've put yourselves in positions to do it, but you cannot fire players. It's the old cliche. You're not going to fire the players.
Hey, the Fast Lane will once again square off against the Rizzuto Show from 105.7 The Point at this year's softball home run derby, hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots on July 27th at CarShield Field in O'Fallon. There's going to be a fast pitch home run derby that night, featuring Rick Ankiel, Brian Jordan, and several other MLB alums. General admission tickets on sale now for just $15 at 101ESPN.com. Brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickle Light. You can check out the Home Run Derby at the O'Fallon Hoots Home Park now at 101ESPN.com. Coming up, we're heading down the stretch of this edition of the Opening Drive with Rock and Roll on 101 ESPN.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Danny Mac and Eagle Scouts. Matthew Rocc. I'm Randy Carricker. What was the hardest thing about becoming an Eagle Scout?
There was a lot of little things. You got to get a lot of the badges.
Attention to detail.
You got to get a lot of the badges that are really dumb. That it's just like, why do I have to do this?
You should be very proud.
You should be very proud.
I was proud of it when it happened, and then like no one cared. As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh, that was a lot of work for something that people told me people were going to care about, and no one actually cares."
You know what? It had to look good on a resume, though. Like
no one ever once, not once did it ever help me out.
We just found out.
I enjoyed it. I love camping, and so that's really why I did it. I just liked going camping so much that I just kept staying in and doing more stuff because it just involved going camping more often, and I loved doing that. But at no point, no point has anyone ever looked at a resume and been like, "Oh wow, that's impressive. It shows you have leadership skills," or blah, 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 blah. Do it because listen, I learned a lot and I'm glad I did it, but I can now say after the fact that everything people told me about getting it after the fact is not true, but the actual experience of getting it, I enjoyed all the events. I got to do a lot of cool, really fun stuff that I never would have got to do. I learned how to shoot black powder rifles. I learned how to do blacksmithing. Like I made a knife.
How about starting
out of crude materials? In fire and stuff. I made my own knife.
Wow.
Like, it's cool. Like
how
I
about
learned
starting
cool
a fire
stuff.
with sticks?
Yeah, I can do that stuff with my hand tied behind my back now.
I've had the greatest respect for you for a long time.
Thank you, sir.
And now this adds to the resume.
You see, look,
I do a good job.
You see, look, it does matter.
It does matter.
It
Thank
does
you so
matter.
much, Danny. I
We're proud
appreciate
of
that.
you.
I really enjoy camping too. Although camping for me is like having
Randy,
yeah.
What's your version of camping, buddy?
That's like having the canopy bed at the Four Seasons.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Glamping. So you're into glamping.
Glamping is fun. Glamping is fun.
I'm
we
gonna
did
be
that a couple
honest,
times
yeah.
too. Mostly
Glamping's better.
Here's the one thing about
What's
camping.
glamping?
You don't know what glamping is?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's where you don't have to suffer through really all the, I guess, the point of camping, like the hard stuff. Sometimes you could even have some air conditioning going, all that stuff.
Room service?
Room service. So, kind of like a hotel stay.
Glamorous camping is what right?
The one thing I'll never do is we used to do this thing where we'd go camping in the middle of the winter, but we would do it on these tree houses that were open faced facing a lake. So the wind coming off the lake.
Oh,
the worst nights of sleep in my entire life. Do not go camping in the middle of the winter. It's dumb.
Hey, did you know we have your chance to score a pair of tickets to see Def Leppard and Journey with Cheap Trick on this Saturday, July 6th at the Busch Stadium? Tickets for Def Leppard, Journey, and Cheap Trick on sale now by going to 101ESPN.com. You can get all the details, but you can get tickets either by purchasing them or by winning our contest here. Text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO, and answer the question correctly, and you can win free tickets to the show. Matthew, what's today's question?
I'm going to need you to name one of the two skaters that the Blues traded for Jay Bouwmeester in April of 2013. Ooh. I'm going to need you to name one of the two skaters that the Blues traded for Jay Bouwmeester on April 1st of 2013. Ooh. They also traded a first-round draft pick in that trade as well.
I remember that.
So there you go.
It was a pretty good deal.
I guess we'll go with texter number 19.
Oh, that's a good one. Steve, I like Steve Eiserman growing up, so I'm choosing number 19. Give me a break. I didn't mind his erratic play when he had the bad hip, but the fact that he was wearing 19 bothered me.
One of the texters who doesn't like me says, Matthew, I'm very surprised that you're an Eagle Scout.
That's it? They didn't say anything else?
He says a lot of the badges are useless.
Oh.
I mean, they're good for what they're good for.
Did you have a favorite badge?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, probably like the ones that were fun, like the ones where you're like taking canoes out on the river and stuff like that. I think I got one because we did like a whitewater rafting trip one summer.
Ooh,
that was
fun.
a lot of fun. Whitewater rafting's wild.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like legitimately, like giant raft, like 8 people, you're going over and down little waterfalls that are 7-foot drops and stuff like that. Not like huge drops, but with a point where you're going down and everyone goes underwater, and then you pop back up. Like that kind of stuff is a lot of fun. Like I said, it's great for experiences, but don't actually think that putting it on your resume is gonna move some employer to hire you.
I love learning new things about you guys that I was not expecting. Dan, are you like a Navy SEAL or something? Like,
No.
I don't.
God, no.
Oh, man, what other
Look at me.
secrets are you guys keeping from me here? I need to know all the information.
Randy,
I love
are you a
fun
Navy
facts.
I got nothing.
I also play an instrument.
What?
Which one?
Oh, yeah.
I played the saxophone and the clarinet. Don't listen to Doug Vaughn. He'll tell you I played the tuba. He's lying to you, and he's trying to slip in a fat joke that I don't appreciate.
Do you still play?
No, I have not played saxophone since I graduated high school, which is I kick myself in the ass every day when I think about that, because I'm like, why didn't I just every 3 months just pick it up and practice
You
for
pick
a
it up
day?
pretty quickly.
I don't know if I remembered how to read music. I think I've forgotten how to read music. So
you would pick it up very quickly.
God, this conversation is making me. I was so much more of a hard worker. I was a better human when I was 15 years old. I was doing stuff. I was going camping. I was playing instruments. I was trying to better myself as a human being.
Yeah,
I'm going to eat Chick-fil-A and play video games after work today. I'm not. I need to. Oh damn! This is a rough conversation for me. I need to reevaluate things.
You can always do new things now. You don't have to give up.
Running around over at Schnucks at Dorset McKelvey the other day, day before yesterday. I don't think that new Chick-fil-A over there is going to survive. There was nobody there day before yesterday. Nobody,
Which one?
Not a soul. The one at Dorset McKelvey.
Oh,
it's got to survive. It's Chick-fil-A.
the word just needs to be out there more.
Sorry, when did you go by there?
Day before yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, that's because it's Sunday.
Oh, Randy.
I was like, wait, did no one else hear that?
Dan, I don't like that he just did that to us.
By the way, we've gotten enough texts, including Alex Ferraro, who was very proud of himself for getting this one correctly. The Blues traded a first-round pick, Reto Berra, and Mark Kandari for Jay Bouwmeester. I would say that even before they won the Cup, that was an absolutely fantastic trade for the Blues.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for them.
How are people ever complaining about Jay Bouwmeester when that was the trade to get him?
Because he was a punching bag. You got to have a punching bag. Yeah, although if you watch the Olympics in the last minute of a game and they had a 1-goal lead, it was always Petro and Bo on the ice, but we didn't pay attention to that.
No. This has been a hell of a rock and roll.
Somebody said, I knew you at 15. That's debatable. That's also fair.
I knew you at 15.
Tomorrow we're going to have our official 4th of July food draft, and that's one of the most important shows of the year, so we hope you'll tune in for that.
What's number one? All right, I guess I need to tune in.
Number one pick?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be part of the draft, Dan.
Oh, okay.
So
can I moderate?
If you want to moderate, you can.
Ding.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be the commissioner.
Okay, I'll be the commissioner.
Okay.
You got it. Okay.
You can also rate our picks.
That's what I'll do.
In the midst of it as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
T-Mac and Ajax are coming up. They've got a balloon party. Before we hear BK and Ferrario, they'll be with us from Centene Ice Center between 11 and 2 at the Blues Prospect Camp. Don't forget tonight, the Blues Prospect Scrimmage is going to be here on our air at 6 o'clock. And then you've got the Fast Lane from 2 to 6 here on 101 ESPN. Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Are you going to use this as your... So every day Matthew puts a thing on social media. What's it called? The thing that...
The rundown from the show?
No. There's our... the one thing on social media. That's on
that one thing.
The Instagram. Just one little portion of the show.
Oh, sometimes I do the audiogram. Yeah.
Audiogram.
Do it every day.
Is it going to be the beginning?
No.
The beginning of the year?
No.
We're not going to do Good Morning?
No, we got great stuff from Greg today. It'll be a Greg Amsinger clip.
Shouldn't our audiogram be good? The long Good Morning?
I can do that it's a fun little punch piece of audio we can just put out there. You know what? I'll have Mike Ryder just start putting that out there at 7:30 a.m. every day just to wake up St. Louis.
No, just one. Today's was special. Okay, it was good. I felt good.
I think that we should put out the moment that we figured out that he's an Eagle Scout.
I think that's pretty good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
Yes.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yes.
Oh, it's good to hear. Good. Glad. You're back at it tomorrow with us?
I'd hope so. That was,
Long work week. Good.
Long work week.
Dan, you were awesome.
Oh, no. You were awesome. Pleasure.
You were awesome.
I like the pleasure part.
Oh, yeah?
Just pleasure.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, it's my pleasure.
It's my
pleasure. When Rocc says pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7, have a spectacular Taco Tuesday, St. Louis.